Okay. Did you guys hear that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a nice warning.
I'm going to leave the meeting.
Where the hell did that
We're gonna
come
leave
from?
meeting now. Yep.
What is that? Now,
So you can't sneakily record us anymore.
That's the new legal disclaimer.
wow, I was that's a first for everyone. You know, now they got a voice. Huh? Well, guys, this meeting is being recorded. I just turned on the recorder. I figured that.
Clicking continue. We are consenting to be recorded.
Yes, could everyone just say an aye or an aye or nay for their consent? For those of you, in two-party states.
Well, we had the banner that said "continue or leave meeting." So,
no kidding.
And by clicking on "continue," you consent.
Oh well,
I didn't see the
New Jersey
banner.
Party.
You didn't see the banner because you're the one who recorded it.
That's right. I meant to do that too. No, I didn't. You guys got a banner. That's odd. That's odd. So, wow, that's new. All right, well, welcome to the game, everyone. We're going to go ahead and start, I think, while we wait for Eric. I'm sure he'll be here very soon. So let's just recap. We haven't played for a while. It's been over a month in this case. So I just want to recap. I went through the last probably hour of the video last time. So this is what was happening. You guys were fighting the drones. So you guys entered this Ursay ship, and you were fighting drones. This is the Ursay ship that Seven Tides transitional human associate brought to you guys and said, hey, look, you guys are interested in Ursay. I want to let you in on a little something that happened. We basically lazed up an Ursay ship that was drifting in space. You know, for target practice, we don't like the Ursay, they don't like us, and we're the affront. This is the kind of shit that we do. So, but if you guys are interested in that ship, here's the coordinates. Gave you the coordinates. You guys took your leave of Captain Seven Tide and decided to go investigate the ship before you headed to Cymberline to get your ship work done. Boarded this essentially up. It's not even a ship. It's a portion of a ship that was pretty sawed up and that kind of stuff. You discovered some interesting things. One, Matt.
That was dramatic.
Thank you.
You know it's Matt.
So one, there was some. The first thing you guys found was the dead bodies of some Ursays. Some that had obviously been flash decompressed. Some that looked like they had slowly asphyxiated, suffocated because they ran out of. They got their suits on, but their suits simply ran out of air. You guys knew that it had been a week and a half to 2 weeks between the time when Colonel Seventide and the Affronters on the Defenestrator had shot this thing up and the time when you got there. So there isn't a suit made that holds 2 weeks worth of air.
Assuming that for a space dwelling species.
I'm sorry, what did we lose in there for
Let's try it again. I said assume for the space dwelling species, this is a big fear for us, is having your suit run out of air.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's horrible. Yeah. So it is not a way to go. It's not a fun way to go. It's like running out of air in your tank when you're scuba diving at about 200 feet down. So you guys found some bodies, continued through the thing, and and as you were doing so, the automated defense drones of inside the ship came to life and began to attack you. You ran into several of those, managed to knock down all of them, but you did discover two very interesting things. So at one point, you guys were fighting the last of the drones, and you had ducked under this this tank. This like some sort of it's a little bit reminiscent of a cryo tank, but it's not a cryo tank. It's filled with some sort of greenish liquid. And you guys were at one point. Both Doyle and Captain Black were underneath the tank shooting at these drones over here, trying to put them out. When you realize that there was something in the tank, which sort of clambered over and looked at you guys through the bottom of the tank. Very creepy creature, certainly non-human. And as
come over here again.
No, you are on camera.
Trouble?
You're still on.
Hey, X-Man.
I had my speaker up.
We totally saw him. All right, so then you saw this thing in the tank. You guys managed to kill the drones, and then came over because at the same time, Dr. Wagner, and then pretty soon followed by Weber Jix, spotted this creature down in this room. Now, keep in mind that you had looked in this room, and in fact, I think a couple of people actually entered it at one point, and there was nothing there. But now, this creature was sort of sitting in there. It was flickering, like it was having trouble phasing in and out. It did not attack, and you guys did not attack it. And that's kind of where we start. Coffin took down the last drone, saw the creature in the tank, move forward. The creature was looking at you with this big eye that it has, that kind of thing. There was at one point where Weber speculated that it's possible that the creature in the tank was projecting, potentially like a hologram or an illusion, this creature over here in some way. Not sure if that's possible, but certainly this is awfully weird. Captain Black was looking at it and approached the creature, and he felt that maybe the creature couldn't control its phase, like maybe that was a problem, that was the flickering. You guys reached out to Gin. You guys were, at least 3 of you were running video on this creature, and Gin told you essentially that I'm detecting jump space radiation anomalies in the general region of the ship relic where you guys are. So it could easily be that this creature is radiating those things, which jives with all the other kind of stuff that you've run into. When you run into these creatures, these different kinds of creatures, and this is even a brand new different one that you've never seen before, they do seem to emanate that jump space radiation, and you're not sure what the dealio is. So it's at that point that we kind of start. Gin, Dr. Wagner asked Gin he sent the video over. He says, run this through your data banks and see if this particular creature is representative of any sort of alien species that you're aware of. And Jin came back and said, no, it's nothing in my database. There's no creature that exhibits these sort of physical characteristics that I have in my library. Now, Jin will admit that his library is, for alien species is not necessarily comprehensive. He's just a simple cargo ship AI, trying to do a battleship's AI's job, thanks to Captain Black. But nevertheless, you guys find yourself at this point, you come in and you have a couple of things going on. One, the creature is still there. Now it's flickering in and out, like it can't maintain its phase, that kind of stuff. It does seem to be, as far as Jin's concerned, is radiating this jump space radiation, this anomalous kind of readings that Jin now has taught himself to keep an eye on. You have the creature in the tank, which is, according to Jin, bleeding out a little excess power signature, but other than that, doesn't look like anything. No jump space radiation or anything like that coming through there. Now the tank could be shielded in some way or something like that, but all it's radiating is a little bit of excess power field. The creature is watching you guys through these doors. Through these doors here, which are open, quite interesting. He seems quite interested in the goings on over there. But other than that, he hasn't made any sort of attempt to escape or communicate or anything like that. And that's sort of where you find yourself. One thing that I was going through, I did have a question for you, Dan. You mentioned at one point, sort of as an offhand comment, that when Yamazaki from Spofulam was now watching you guys. What did you mean by that? Because I wasn't sure what that meant. You had mentioned that we're in communication with Spofulam Corporation, and they're keeping an eye on us.
Yeah, I didn't mean say like as a video type concept. It was more that we are highly expected to be giving updates, especially since we just got more.
Okay. All right, that's what you meant. All right, I thought that there was something like you had tapped into some sort of live video feed out here in the middle of space.
No.
And I was like, that I don't think it's gonna work, but I want to just do that. So at this point, we're not an initiative. You guys are sort of looking at the creature. Don's rolling a 12 for some reason that I'm not sure why. He's wasting a big 12. So Don, I know that there's a reason behind that roll. Tell me.
When you first join Roll20, it gives you a chat, and I've seen this 2d6 greater than 5. I didn't want to know what the greater than did. That's all I was doing, really.
Just a test roll.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What does it do?
Hey,
Like I
does
said-
RA,
It just gives you the numbers so far. I'm waiting to see if I roll something below 8, what it does. No, it doesn't do anything. I don't know what the greater than does.
our AI that's a simple cargo transport AI, is that the same way that Don's other character is a simple caravan guard, or is it really like a simple AI?
Well, potentially, I guess. So there's a couple of things that you guys talked about before. One, you're sort of trying to figure out what the hell this creature is. Now, it hasn't attacked. It more than anything, it just seems, guardedly curious about you. The problem with this creature is it keeps flickering in and out, and it doesn't seem to be either, as Captain Black suggests or suspects, is that it doesn't seem to be able to hold itself within this particular phase, and keeps flipping back and forth. Or, as Weber speculated, it could be an illusionary or some sort of projection from the creature in the tank. Or it could be another reason. What it hasn't done is attacked you. It more than anything, it just seems to be observing you guys. It's got a whole eye stalk neck thing
Right.
going on, but I mean, it does seem to be looking at you in the same manner that you're looking at it, not aggressively, just like, the fuck are you guys?
Captain, ask if it can communicate with us.
Am I asking it, or am I asking the creature in the tank?
Ask the creature south.
You guys are all in suits, so I'd be very curious. What are you going to broadcast this on a speaker?
I'll try sign language.
Hopefully it knows the same sign language.
I'm thinking of War of the Worlds, where the guys are trying to talk to the first Martian that lands there and get vaporized.
So I mean, so you make some signs to it. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you do? Like palms outstretched, or
Booga, booga.
yeah. I mean, yeah, or like run straight at it, kind of thing. I mean, what kind of
2001 monkeys?
keep in mind that you're in a suit, so I mean, it's necessary.
Well, I was doing what I was just doing.
I didn't see that. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I got you. I didn't see that you were gesticulating. So you're like,
Grow up.
Go, come, talk here.
okay, all right. So
And
you're making those things. So you do see that the stalk with what you suspect are eyes on it does kind of move around a little bit and wave back and forth. And you also see the other stalk that has these sort of like funnel looking things on it, kind of like it sort of had it tucked against itself, but it sort of pulls that out and kind of like pans it at you. But I mean, from a point of view of like sign language, I mean, other than it's definitely paying attention to you, and seems to be reacting to the gestures that you're making. It doesn't. I mean, it's nothing interpretable.
And this is a vacuum we're in?
You guys are in hard vacuum, and this creature doesn't have a suit of any kind on, as far as you could tell.
Okay. I think we go with the suggestion that it might be the creature in the tank that has something to do with this. Do we think
Okay.
we can get that tank out of here?
Yes. So you guys talked about that a little bit before, and so the tank is aftermarket. At some point, this isn't a part of the ship. This was brought in and connected to ship systems in some way and sort of wedged in there. Your guess, and this is, I think, mostly Tam's discussion, was the idea of you think that from a point of view of that you can disconnect it, move it onto some sort of gravitic tray out into space, get it onto the slice, and get it over into the cargo bay. Probably take 3 to 4 hours.
I'm going to roll an engineering check to see, hey, can I get a similar, hookup to the ship on GNT?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Hey, Les. I'm gonna, while they're trying to figure this out, if we feel there's no more danger on the ship, I'm gonna start trying to pull any data that I can find, just bring back with us. Anything that might give us a clue of what they were trying to accomplish here, or what they're carrying, like ship log, cargo manifests, stuff like that.
You're going to examine a terminal of some sort, try and use computer skill to get that.
And maybe I'll see if any of the bears that had some time on their hands while they were slowly asphyxiating left any sort of written memorandum of that they want to get back to their loved ones, but might also give us a clue what happened here.
Okay. While you guys are Black, you and Tam are checking out the tank, and Weber, you are taking off to go look at the Ursay to see if they had any personal communication devices or computer tethers or anything like that. Wagner and Doyle
and Manifest.
Wagner and Doyle I'm assuming you guys are going to stick by the, well, Andrew's not there, and Eric's not here yet. So I'm assuming that Wagner and Doyle sort of hang out and keep an eye on the thing. Although, as you guys are sort of suddenly across your comms, you hear. Could you guys hear that?
Yeah. Staticky?
Yeah, there does seem to be some sort of interference being broadcast. At which point, Gin comes over the general comms and says, "Gentlemen, are you okay? Gentlemen, is everything all right?"
Yeah, what was that?
Where's that interference coming from?
The interference is coming from the creature, I believe. It is non-random data. I've collected as much of it as I can, but it does seem to be broadcasting on some sort of jump space wavelength, like it can control jump space.
Which creature?
Great question.
Did you guys get that? It's interfering with comms. It's the creature that's emanating the jump space anomalous radiation. Is these waveforms seem to be emanating from that area of the ship? I'm assuming it is the creature. Can you guys hear me?
Great. Can we hear each other?
Guys, gentlemen, I also want to let you know that I'm getting some waveforms sent my way as well. There does seem to be it's ship. It doesn't seem to be. It's non. I'm collecting the data as best I can.
I heard ship, guys.
Yeah, I did too. But it could have been this ship. We don't know.
Gentlemen,
gentlemen,
the transmission seemed to have stopped. I have collected a fair amount of data. I'll begin analysis immediately, unless, Captain, you wish me to devote my cycles to something else.
No, get started on it. And Tam, let's get this thing out of here quick.
Hey,
Jim, did you say you had detected another ship or no?
No, I think he said that the signals were being directed at the ship also, the GNT.
Okay.
The interference signals.
We would just ask Jim, did you say there was a third ship?
Guys, that thing just blinked out of that room. Jen, red alert.
That's fine.
Gentlemen, I cannot detect the, I do not detect the, wait a second.
Check your own systems.
I'm getting
the jump space creature.
Yes, it is moved. I am not detecting jump space anomalous readings where you are. However, I do have an internal proximity alert going. I'll be back in a second once I locate it.
All right, boys, it's time to wrap this up. All right, either we split forces, send some back to the Gin Tonic, or I send everybody. I don't think we should wait for.
So as you guys are sort of like, so as Black and Tam are sort of like looking around, and Tam, you're checking out the connections and that kind of stuff, and you're checking out the tank, and you're basically you see that it is a self-contained unit, much like a cryo unit, but it's not a cryo unit. The best analogy you could think of is that it's like a Bacta tank for healing, like you would put something into an antibacterial bath to promote if somebody's badly injured. They use them a lot. Wagner would probably explain that they use them a lot for people who have been significantly burned. They essentially subsume them in some sort of liquid to protect the new tissue as it grows back. In this case, the creature
use it for making soup.
Also soup. In this case, the creature is sort of like you know, he's at the tank. I mean, the tank is clear. You can see that it is filled with a sort of a greenish liquid in which the creature, you can see the creature is sort of like moving through the liquid, and you can not hear it sloshing, but definitely he's in there. He's
moving around.
You see him moving around. He's definitely watching you guys.
And he's definitely aware of us, right?
Now, oh yeah, absolutely.
They could be using this as a containment field for the creature. They could be using it because it can't survive in our atmosphere.
It's not a field; it's a physical containment vessel.
Right.
I mean, it's right.
But I mean, if this creature, if the liquid inside it is actually simulating a methane gas atmosphere,
right?
Because he can't handle an oxygen-based atmosphere. You know, we don't know this yet.
It's also theoretically possible it's wounded and they're just trying to heal it, but
that's true too.
I mean, the doctor could maybe take a look at it and see if he sees any like wounds or.
I think regardless of anything,
Captain,
this National Geographic special is real interesting, but I think we need to worry about our ship.
Yeah,
Captain, I think this door here is the fastest way back to our ship.
Let's get it
bend over and cough.
Captain, I believe that this way here is the fastest way back to our ship.
Gin Tonic, fast.
Well, even fast, it's gonna take time. I mean, you guys can all sort of help out.
Say no more examinations, no more chit chat. Let's go.
Okay, all right. So you guys, it does take you a little while, and Tam's like, look, unless you want me to breach this container, I have to be careful. And everybody's like, no, breaching the container is just fine. Right. Just take your time. But yeah, I mean, so you do. It takes you about an hour and a half to get it essentially detached. You have to get what you're essentially going to use is essentially an air raft from the slice of lime, and you bring it in, and you actually get everybody to. It's lucky that you guys are in zero grav because you can move this thing around kind of, and it makes it certainly easier. Otherwise, you would know that it's
way too heavy, right?
Yeah, certainly has some tonnage. This is a large object. The creature seems, I mean, it's hard to read this creature's face. He's got one big eye and, otherwise looks like a monster. But he definitely seems very interested in all of the things you're doing. And he does seem to emanate a certain intelligence of sorts. I mean, the feeling you get is that he's watching you with an air of like sort of of detached interest, like, that's interesting. What are they going to do there? It could be that he's figuring out how to work this tank too, but you're not sure. You get it on the air raft. You kind of have to wedge it through. It's a little big. You kind of have to, pivot, that kind of thing a couple of times. But you do get it out in an open space. You use the air raft to send it over to the slice, and you suck it up into the small cargo deck, which it fits into, and then you guys get back. It does take, even rushing, it does take about 4 hours to get back. Gin has said that so in the meantime, Captain, I'm assuming you're going, Gin, what's the deal with the proximity alert? And Jin's like, I'm looking all over for it. I do not detect any creatures or field or wave fields within us. Now the proximity alert was inside the ship, but I'm not detecting either the jump space signatures or any sort of life signs. There's nothing in the ship. At least where my detectors can detect, which is pretty much everywhere. I mean, and Jin's like, look, the only real place that I can't turn my own detection apparatus to is the containment vessel for the biological portions of my AI, because there's no detective apparatus.
No sensors there, right?
There's no sensors, but I can look at the entirety of the rest of the ship, and I'm still getting proximity alerts, but they don't seem to be concrete. It's like a generalized prox alert. It's almost as if. And he's like, look, this is going to sound crazy, but it's almost as if another ship is inhabiting the same space we are, but that's obviously impossible.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I think we've seen that is possible, but we'll get around to the physics of that later.
All right, so Weber, you guys all get the thing. Where did Did I see Eric?
Hello.
There he is.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric.
Greetings.
Welcome,
Glad to be
brother. So I
Sorry
thought
to be late.
no worries at all. I thought I saw you, and I saw Cough and Move. So yeah, it must have been you. Welcome aboard, brother. So you guys as you guys are doing that, Weber, you are rummaging around the dead bodies, and in some cases the mutilated bodies of the Ursay corpses that you saw, and you don't find anything that looks like a terminal. You do find on one of the guys, and your instincts were correct, on one of the guys that was in the suit, you do find that he has one of those like Predator sort of suit-based computer terminals. It seems completely powered down, though. I mean, you hit it a couple of times, and it's Ursay manufacturer, so you're not quite sure how to use it. But you're thinking,
Pop it off.
yeah. Do you have computer skill?
I have like a 1 in computer skill.
Okay.
So.
Good enough.
If you want to try and fire it up, you can certainly try.
Well, I want to take it with us, maybe, but if I have to, but let's see. Let me roll. Okay, let me roll here.
Okay.
That'd be 2d6 plus 1, right? Oh wow.
Suspense is killing me. Wow. Okay. Computer check. All right. So you recognize a couple of things here. One, the reason it's powered down is because these things, the Ursay technology, you suspect, and this is used in some, it's not just Ursay, it's used in some other places. But generally speaking, when aboard ship, these particular units will generally take power from ambient energy fields that are generated internally. Yeah, essentially they transfer energy and connectivity via Wi-Fi with this ship. And you guys haven't seen anything on this piece of the ship that you're on, and really it's a piece of a ship. You guys are suspicious that the portion of the ship with the bridge and the AI and all the things that would generate that Wi-Fi power generation is gone, which is probably why this thing isn't reacting. Second thing that you would learn with a remarkable role such as that is it's possible.
He didn't get a 13. He's only a 12.
He's got a 12. 12's pretty good. So you probably feel like that if you could get this into a power field, or even better, just simply connect it up to Gin through some sort of interface, which you could probably do. You might be able to peel some data off of the unit itself. But it's unlikely that a subordinate unit like this would have any real insight that would be otherwise AI driven. Now, you do know that the Ursay don't have as sophisticated as AI as Terran ships do. So it's likely that the AI for this ship would have been, more rudimentary than Gin is, potentially even more like robotic, even, or drone like, enough to run the jump drives, enough to keep life support going, but it's not going to have you're not going to be able to have long conversations with it.
Can I pop it off his arm, or I got to take it home with me?
Okay. No, you can pop it off. It's a detachable unit. Yeah.
All right. I will carry that out, and then if I don't see anything else manifest wise or other, then I will be ready to depart the ship.
Okay.
Probably area here.
All right.
This is a fair amount of salvage if we wanted to tag this, but
well, it's a lot of metal. It's pretty. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty. It's pretty shot up, and getting in. I mean, you could try and tow it, but I don't know.
I leave that to the captain. I did my part here, so I'm back to the ship.
Wait. Don't dump it on me now. No, I think we just take the data and run. What we now need to discuss too is what we're going to do with this alien in the canister. I don't know if everybody's up to it from a trust perspective, but
forgive me. Job 1, we can't keep calling him alien in the capsules. He needs a name so we can remember who we talked about.
We only have one alien that we have control of.
I'm going to go with Melvin. I'm throwing it out there for the group.
Okay, Melvin. So we got to decide what we're going to do with Melvin. I think maybe this should be one we turn over to Speculum. What do you guys think?
I have no idea what to do with this alien. I'm inclined to shoot it.
I'd like to dissect it.
Well, then first, let me shoot it.
Well, let me pump it
I'm
out.
feeling more
full
with,
of,
I'm with Eric on this one. I want to rip the not to study, not to bring back kind of moment here, I think.
I'm not really xenophobic. I don't know if we have to kill
Yeah.
it right away.
I mean, I can
All right.
pump him full of drugs. I want to study his systems and see if there are any parts that I can sell on the black market.
I don't believe that this.
I
creature
understand
is
Coffin
defense-
Doyle's thinking because a dead alien has never attacked us.
Dr. Widener's starting to alarm me. I'm starting to account for my own organs, making sure that they're all still here.
I also don't think he's defenseless. But I don't know
Yeah.
that we need to be murdering him.
Well, he definitely
Why-
seems
why
interested
do
in what you guys are doing. So whenever you guys are around, he watches you intently. Now he doesn't
Yeah.
make any like scary motions. You can even get up. It's at one point, maybe even you get up real close to the tank and kind of look in. Tam sounds like it's something you would do, and just sort of peek in there. And he will sort of like bring his face and kind of like, kind of look at you. And if you even want to do some signals a la Captain Black, I mean, you could try that as well. But it doesn't respond in any. It doesn't respond in any way that indicates to you that it's trying to communicate. More than anything, what this creature gives off the impression of is that it's observing you intently.
Right. The most
we
I
have
would
a-
do is when it's close, if I'm close to the tube and it's looking right at me, I would mouth the word hi and nod a little bit, but that's it.
Is this when you get on the ship and get out of your suits?
Yeah.
Or is this before that?
Well, should we put at least a velvet covering or something over it that
Gotta
we
hear
can't?
it.
Velvet. Excellent.
Hey,
Sexy.
Next
I
to
didn't have a
hey,
blanket or anything on the way there, but we can do that now if you want. I mean,
Les, does our ship's complement come with a Casio synthesizer that I can do the meh, 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 meh.
Of course, every Terran ship is complemented with a free Casio and
Awesome.
Casio wristwatches too. The calculator wristwatches.
put it in this
They're
room.
pretty neat.
Casio's huge in this. So you're gonna bring it all the way upstairs,
It gets
Are you
its
gonna-
own room?
or are you gonna keep it in the
In the cargo hold.
In the cargo hold. Now, so this is a
Cargo
question I
hold.
had for you guys. Do you guys have cargo that you're lugging around? I believe you do, but I can't remember what it was.
Tiger penises.
No, we got some stuff before we jumped into jellyfish base there to deliver somewhere, but I now.
Oh
can't
yeah,
remember
we
what-
took that long route to
Right.
see the other captain get arms and everything. But yeah, we are headed somewhere.
Cymberline bound, is that what, if I recollect?
That sounds right.
I do not have that in the ship's ledger.
Let's go to the recording.
Where's it going? Hold on a second. Cargo type. Well, oh yeah, processed minerals, Ember to Cymberline. Here we go. Yeah, it's in here. 60 kilocredits worth. Cymberline bound. Also farming parts and accessories. So that's good. Okay. All right. So yeah, you've got this material in here. I've got him in the
In a hold. I
in the
see him now.
hold right now. Do you want him?
No, leave him here.
You sure?
Is
Take him
there
upstairs.
somewhere where we can hook him up in here?
Oh yeah, there's terminals and it'll
Power
take you a couple
coupling and
hours
stuff.
to sort of get him hooked up. But yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah. No, leave him in here. That's fine.
can. Okay.
Who's going to try to communicate with him? Who's the
Who's the lucky guy?
Is it you, Don, or you want me to do it, or who wants to talk to Melvin?
I'll let you.
Just don't kill it. Just to be clear.
All right.
That's
So
Doyle's job.
in
That's
what
why
Turns
Coffin
on it.
isn't doing it. Yeah.
in what sense do you want to talk with him? I mean, are you going to put sound waves through the and it is liquid in the tank. Are you going to like connect up so that you can put sound waves through the liquid and essentially talk to him? Or are
If
you
I
going to
can,
put up
yeah,
like a
that makes-
terminal with languages on it or something like that?
I think I'd probably try a combination. I'd probably try sign language first, or some sort of hello, me llamo Weber, and And
Okay.
that's, and work my way up to sound and video, whatever
Okay.
I can. But I'll start with the dry erase board, of course.
Okay.
Am I making any progress?
Well, so I mean, you put. I mean, what are you gonna like? Me, Weber. That kind of thing. It's and it studies you for a period of time that feels like where it's just edging into you're starting to feel really silly. Like this creature may not be even an intelligent creature. I'm trying to talk to a dog here, and at which point you see the creature go. He does like a weird sort of thing. So you see him take one clawed hand and he moves it in front of his eyes, and he crosses across his lips, or what passes for his lips, basically fangs, his angler teeth fangs, and then he takes one claw and points outside, and then sort of me outside.
Not yet.
And then he pantomimes ripping your throat out.
Yeah. Then he's like
eating it.
Yeah. And laying his eggs in my trachea, right? Laying his babies in my trachea and then bursting out. I will try. I guess I'll try to connect up sound to the thing, and my Casio bit, and then I will see if I can you hear me?
Okay, so you connect it up, and basically Jin's helping you with this, and you get to the point where Jin's like, it is you can now transmit sound waves through the material, the medium. You're like, hello? Oh, I'm sorry. Go what, Eric?
Sorry. Can I be present, please? And I just want to be kind of lounging around, chilling out, holding a firearm.
Just a firearm or a spoon?
Just chilling out with my gun.
Move your characters both to the yeah.
One second.
Oh well, I want to observe and take note.
Somebody driving the ship, yeah.
Yeah, Captain. While we're doing that, we can go ahead and start on our final destination, right?
Yeah, so you guys are headed for Cymberline to go meet the guy for the ship's weapons. So
yeah.
Are you going to go ahead and fire that up?
Yep.
All right. So Tam, you and Captain Black probably need to be on the bridge to do the jump preparations. Wagner, did you say you were going down in the hold to sort of watch this show?
Yes.
And maybe let the creature out?
Oh, I don't know about that.
No.
It's okay if you want to. I mean, it feels like something you'd do.
Before I head to the bridge, I say 2 rules: don't let it out and don't kill it.
Okay.
Coffin and Wagner both look back and go, not making any promises.
Yeah, those are good suggestions, Captain.
I'm thinking about our game last. Don't make any deals with devils.
Don't make any deals with demons. All right, so Weber, as you guys have said, you're not sure if it's indicative of intelligence or he's trying to mimic you, but it does seem like he brings one of his claws across his eyes, and then he brings one across his mouth, and then he sort of touches his own sort of like chest plate, and then one clawed hand he points outside, like out into the tank, points past. And he's not pointing at you, he's pointing past you.
So I'm thinking, if this is a medical device, is there an inlet for nutrition and medication?
Give me a medical check, Dr. Wagner.
I will do that. Let me pull up the handy dandy dice roller. Okay.
9. Okay. So Wagner, this is a couple of things. So the first thing that you notice is this is not a traditional back to tank or anything like that for healing. It looks like it, but it's not. And it does have, it also does have nutritional ports. You can see readouts for gas. What's the like? Controlling the level of different gases inside the liquid and other chemicals, the release of chemicals, the ability to inject chemicals into the tank, that kind of stuff. But as you examine this thing, you increasingly believe that this is not for medical use. This is more for punitive use. like as a prison cell. And you do know, Wagner mentioned this sideways, and Doyle, you know that in certain societies, rather than have them use up resources in an actual prison, in a penitentiary, what they'll do is they'll essentially put people into an induced coma, and then keep them in tanks like this where they can control the level of nutrients and that kind of stuff, and essentially, put them on ice for the period that they're to be incarcerated. It's a little bit. What was that show with Sylvester Stallone and the guy from
Demolition
Blade?
Man.
Demolition Man. Yeah. So
is this alien going to come out with knitting skills?
Yeah.
Possibly. What Doyle was said is usually these are used on, people aren't kept conscious in them. They're usually just, put in there, monitored, given the appropriate level of nutrition and that kind of stuff. Electronically, you can electrically stimulate the liquid around them to spaz the musculature to avoid, going fetal for humans. It's not very many human societies use this kind of thing anymore. It's mostly other alien societies.
Klingon agonizer booth.
Well, it's not an agonizer booth, but it's more of a prison cell. It's more of an automated prison.
So do we have any of that good scotch around? Let's see if you'd like a little drink.
Hey. No one gives the aliens good scotch without my say no. Are we making any progress with the sound hooked up?
What do you say?
Sounds hooked up.
Say, hi. So, what are you?
The moment that starts to happen, the moment you start speaking and you can't hear your own voice in there because the tank is really solid. There's no waveforms coming out of there. But the moment you say something, you see the creature sort of jump away, sort of way. And as you continue to speak, the creature begins to sort of like it covers his head. It's obvious that you talking to him is giving him a fair amount of pain.
Okay, I will. Sorry about that. I'll switch that off. We'll go with something else.
He kind of like looks around, and you could see. So there's a moment where after he does that, and he looks through after you stop, and you're just like, "Hey, I'm sorry." He looks through the window, and that eye sort of looks at you, and you can see it just go. And it did something. It doesn't make any noise or anything, but it looks like to you that some sort of wave field came out of that eye at you and was stopped by the edge of the tank. And then it sort of withdraws a little bit and kind of like continues to watch you guys from like the bottom of the tank.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Well, as far as it's concerned, we attacked it with the sound.
I guess so, yeah.
So we gotta, yeah.
So in our ship's light and with our resources, do we have any idea of what it might be in the tank?
So Tam, you could maybe speculate on that.
I've been doing some searches and have asked Gin to help me also. There's nothing in his data banks or anything I can find in the interstellar web, basically, that identifies what type of creature this is.
Okay, time to go about this a different way. Les, I'm going to abandon this for now, wave to the creature, and I'm going to see if I can break into that Ursay's data wristband or whatever.
Okay.
There you go.
Are you going to have anybody help you?
Yes, who has the best computer skill?
I have a 3 computer.
He's the best.
All right.
Excuse me, 2 computer, 3 electronics.
Still the best.
Okay.
All right. Would you like to roll for this? Can we do an assist roll or anything, Les? Or just,
Sure can.
Okay.
All right, so just roll with my bonus.
Well, actually, Matt, you roll first to see if you given him an assist.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, that's
Nope.
good. Oh, no, you didn't get an 8. So no assist. So just at +2 then.
Okay. I'm doing a computer check.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you get it hooked up to power and it does come to life. So it is powering up. But generally speaking, I mean, you can't make heads or tails of the Ursay sort of controls. You could ask Jin to sort of examine it and see if there's anything that he can translate.
We'll do that.
Can I use an electronics check and see if there's just a language switch or something I recognize?
Sure.
All right, it might be just, what about this little doohickey here on the side?
11. You do find a thing that says Google Auto Translate on the side. So you just switch that over and suddenly it comes out in broken English and the sentences don't make a lot of sense, but the words are translated. No, I mean, with electronics, you kind of fiddle with it. It takes about an hour. I'm assuming, Tam, you and Captain Black are getting the jump ready. You guys are preparing to jump to Cymberline?
Yeah.
During this time?
Yes.
Okay. It's essentially, you were able to extract some data from it. With Jin's help, you're able to sort of analyze it. The data is corrupted a fair amount due to damage. Having been in hard vacuum, these materials are and they got bounced around a little bit, so not great. It's solid state memory, very rudimentary, connected to AI. It's obvious this is kind of like, this is the kind of thing that you would connect to, at least in Terran space, would connect to like a factory AI, where you had workers in the factory and they would do this. So it's pretty rudimentary. You do find a couple of things on there on this particular unit. One, you find a series of text exchanges which have been corrupted, so you don't get much of the insight, but it's connected to a ship called the Penny Dreadful and somebody named Viterbo Lamonte. Now you'll recognize that the Penny Dreadful was the ship that was in Greenpernt and took off, and the one you suspect, or at least right now you suspect, may have gotten Kick Bandiers off station at Greenpernt. There was a ship called the Penny Dreadful.
Yep.
You had discovered,
I remember that now.
Coffin had discovered that ship name in the thing somehow in the data banks of the office that Kick Bandiers had, and it had been making different sort of drop-offs and stuff, ostensibly cargo, but your guess was at the time that maybe this ship was being used to ferry kidnap victims to Greenpernt for later transshipment. And your suspicion was that this was the ship that Kick Bandiers had got off of. This guy had contacted or talked to a guy named Lamonte on the with the code recognition of being on the ship Penny Dreadful which tells you a couple of things. One, these Ursay were in contact with that ship. They would have to be pretty close, certainly within the same parsec, to be able to communicate this way. So they had to be close together. They might have even been in the same volume, right? To explore that. Now the texts themselves are garbled. Not much information there. It looks like sort of like, how are you kind of stuff. It's not, there doesn't seem to be anything of real interest there, but it's definitely looks like that they were in proximity to the Penny Dreadful at some point. You do find what looks to be travel indicators, some GPS data, and it looks like that this particular ship left Kukulkan, went to, this is several weeks ago, went to Kukulkan, or started in Kukulkan, went to Greenpernt, left Greenpernt, and this is before you guys arrived in Greenpernt the last time, went back to Kukulkan, and then jumped into space to parsec 72731. Here, let me show you what that looks like. I guess I should put you guys on that to see what it looks like. So if you look at your thing, so you've essentially got this ship started in Kukulkan here, and I'm just going to make a what's color line? We'll use a red line. This is the ship. So it left Kukulkan, which is the home of the Ursay, went to Greenport, stayed in Greenport for a while. This is before you guys arrived. Went back to Kukulkan. Okay. And then jumped to 2731, which is right here.
Oh, yeah.
The weird part is at least the GPS time codes look like they stayed in that parsec for approximately 3 weeks. Then they jumped to 2430. And then stopped. There's no data after this.
And where do we just find them?
You found them in 2430. So you guys are in the same parsec here. The same parsec that you ran into the affronter ship. And that was about 2 weeks ago. And there's no further data after that.
Do we have anything about 2731? I thought that was just dead deep space, right?
Empty space as far as the charts show. In fact, there's not really any reason for anybody to be out there. It's not on the way to anything. I mean, theoretically, if you were going from Kukulkan to Tewfik or Cymberline, you might go that direction, but it didn't.
Right.
And it spent 3 weeks out there in deep space by itself. Well, maybe not by itself. You don't know. But it was there for about 3 weeks.
This might be where we can find the rest of our prisoners or former prisoners, whatever people they've been abducting. Maybe they're out there somewhere on some sort of situation outpost or something. I don't know.
It seems like maybe we should check out that parsec.
We got to drop off our mining equipment and farm equipment first, though, right? We got to.
True.
Yeah.
Well, you got to talk to the guy, your connection in Cymberline. Yeah. So the only other data on here is just prior to the affront disabling to the affront attack, which is not listed here, but you assume that that's the reason that these GPS coordinates stopped. There was some sort of incident with the jump drives that was recorded on this particular unit. What sort of the nature of the event isn't clear, but it's possible that something disabled their jump drives, which is why they couldn't leave this and why they were according to the transitional affront guy, he said that they were just drifting in space, and that's why they used them for target practice. They were just sitting there, and they didn't, affronters don't care what's wrong with your ship. They just laze you up. Right. So
Bogans in space.
Yeah, a lot of it is technical terms that you get some information, but there does seem to be reference to what's called a multiplanar, a multi-phase acceleration module. Now, you're not sure if that's something that malfunctioned or was attached or something like that, but that's some of the technical discussion surrounding this jump drive malfunction revolves around that a multiphasic acceleration module. Now, you talked to Gin about that. I mean, I know you're not a jump drive expert. You talked to Gin about it. Jin's like, there's nothing on a normal jump drive that is remotely called a
multiphasic, right?
Yeah, multiphasic acceleration module. That's not a piece of a jump drive.
That's a phalange.
It's a phalange. But yeah, other than that, that's all you get off the machine. There is some video recordings of what you suspect to be the last couple of days of this guy's life. He's speaking in Ursay. The translator, Gin, translates a little bit. And it's basically this guy saying that he knows that he doesn't have a lot of time left, that he hopes somebody finds them, and to return his remains to his clan and his family back on Kukulkan, and that he's sorry that he dishonored them.
But nothing about the alien.
And he swore that he would come back from the grave to kill Weber Jix.
You know what? There's a line, and you're going to have to go to the back of it.
There's a line.
Hold
on, I gotta tweet that.
So I think we gotta stay on our stay the course assembly, get our gear, but maybe we need to make a stop in the middle of nowhere, the 2731. But I also am a little concerned about bringing Melvin into any sort of occupied space. What do you guys think?
Well, it seems like
No.
Melvin is secure in his tank.
Okay.
Yeah, we can take Melvin anywhere.
I turned Melvin over to Spoculum. I think that's what we're hired to do.
Well, we have to find Spofulam first. I mean, we're on the opposite end of the
Well,
our
they're
quadrant.
supposed to be meeting us in Cymberline, I believe.
We are okay. Maybe I missed that part. Okay.
Well,
Represent-
Wem said she was going to try and get there, but you haven't heard back from her yet, and there was no subspace waiting for you guys when you guys got back to the ship. So
You're like, hey, we brought you a menacing alien in a tank. Let us know how it turns out. Bye.
Can we
Alright.
do the work on the ship without her being there? I mean, do we have the money?
no, I mean,
That's
so
just weapons.
so it's like we talked about, Dan, you and I. It doesn't necessarily have to be a cash transaction, right? Now,
Yeah.
you already reached out to Spofulum, and they said they would sponsor this for you guys.
Yeah.
Is my recollection. So yeah, I mean, it could be. It might not be that she's going to come to Cymberline physically. It could be that she's just going to transfer the money. Did you explain to them what it was for, or did you just say, "Hey, can you loan us 2 mega credits, you big losers"?
No, I explained to them that our investigations were taking us into hostile areas and that we needed to upgrade the ship to be safe in those areas. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to continue the investigation, and they agreed.
Gotcha. Okay. And it was for 2 megs, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry if you didn't want to admit to everybody that you're.
Basically, guys, we're going deeper into debt, but we're getting guns on our ship.
The captain's writing checks your asses can't cash.
Now, Captain, I gave you some money back. I know it's not a lot, but it was 200,000 credits.
Nowhere near enough. Basically, we would have had to not buy any guns or equipment and use the whole thing, and it still wouldn't have been enough.
Okay, I just want to make sure you got that though.
Absolutely, thank you.
Because although it's a pittance as far as ship weapons, it's a sizable donation back.
Yes. And we may need it for fuel.
There we go.
All right. So you guys have, as you're jumping to Cymberline, you guys have, and I'm assuming that you already sort of enacted the jump and you guys are already en route before the discussion about what to do with Marvin came up. So unless I'm wrong, have you guys gone ahead and jumped?
Yeah, we
Yes.
would have. That's what we were up there doing while they were investigating.
Yes, we
Okay.
jumped.
So yeah, all right. So you guys are in jump space. Takes a week. You guys have a week of time to figure out if you want to put Marvin in the. Well, you can't really put him in the airlock, but
It's Melvin. Marvin's already taken.
Marvin. Okay, Melvin. So
Marvin,
what? I
Marvin.
mean, are you guys just going to keep him in the tank?
I mean, he'll starve, I'm afraid.
Let him
Um,
out. I don't know. It's something. Could let him out. I don't know. It could be something.
He's been sitting here in his tank for at least a couple of weeks already, so he didn't start yet.
Yeah, he was able to survive for weeks in the tank, so I think that.
He does not. I mean, you observe him for a couple of days. He does not, except for the incident where the audio was transferred through the tank. He does not seem uncomfortable in the slightest. He doesn't seem hungry. He seems, whenever. So he does a couple of things, right? So whenever you guys come down to the thing and into the hold and observe him, he observes back. So he was a little bit sulky, is the best way to describe it at first after Weber tried to talk to him. But after a few hours, he was fine again. So he would, again, we was coming up to the edge of the thing, watching you guys, that kind of stuff. He hasn't done anything other than that weird wave thing that he did with his eye right after Weber tried to talk with him. He hasn't done anything overtly aggressive. He hasn't tried to claw at the glass. He hasn't tried to undo the cylinder cap and try and let himself out. He hasn't done any of that. He doesn't seem uncomfortable. He seems harmless. You could probably just let him out.
Once
I'm sure
we
it's
get
fine.
to Cymberline, I would check to see if the money's been transferred to an account where we can leverage it, or if there's a message from anybody from Spoculum. If not, we would need to contact them and maybe then get those goods offloaded.
Okay. Okay. So you guys aren't. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna spend part of this week rewatching human media of old movies showing why you never release the alien from the tank.
So watching the original Alien from 1979 over and over again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that would freak you out whenever you have to walk through the cargo hold and you just see this glowing tank and the guy's just like, "Meh," kind of looking at you. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't do anything. I mean, and he doesn't seem like he is at all dying from lack of food or anything. Whatever it is, he seems like he's got enough of it.
All right. I vote we keep him in the tank. And I mean, until we find out if he's of any use to us, or maybe he's a clue of some kind, I think we should just keep him there and bring him to Spofulum.
Okay.
I like that idea too.
All right. So you just leave him in the tank. Do you try any other experiments on the tank, or try and introduce any nutrients or drugs or chemicals or bear
I
pieces into the
suggested
tank?
scotch, and that got shot down.
I just think it's because Weber doesn't want you using his good scotch and just giving it to
I
some
think that's
creature.
exactly what it is.
If you hadn't said good scotch, we wouldn't have had this problem.
Vodka's
should
okay,
sample
but scotch.
the scotch first, please.
I might, inject some, feel good stuff.
You gonna give him the Wagner special?
Sure.
So that's what I can't remember. What is it? Amphetamine and ketamine?
Ketamine or propofol, or maybe some fentanyl.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So you put together a hot shot for this guy. Your gauge, you have to sort of eye him up from the point of view of body mass and that kind of stuff, and you inject that into the drug introduction system. And then you begin monitoring on the side note to see if there's any changes in the tank. You can't monitor the creature directly because it has a tank like this, and Wagner, you would know this. A tank like this would normally have leads connected to sensors actually attached or embedded into whatever body was in there, and that's not the case in this thing. He's just jammed in there. There's no attachments or anything like that. You're not sure if he ripped them off. It doesn't look like they were ever attached. So whatever the Ursay were doing with this creature, they weren't monitoring his bodily rhythms. But you can monitor the content of the juice in the tank. And when you introduce ketamine and fentanyl into the tank, you do see that it does enter and alter the chemical, the chemical balances of the liquid in the tank. Zero reaction from the creature. So I'm assuming, knowing what I know about Dr. Wagner, that when you see zero reaction from the creature, you add a little bit more, correct?
Oh, no.
I got a bad feeling about this.
No. Hey.
Agitate the potentially dangerous creature.
Yeah, I'm not going to put anything more in there. I was just curious.
Little ketamine's not going to hurt him.
I might, see if he wants a bear penis or a peanut butter and jelly.
Do you wave that in front of him? Now, I did have a question. The bear penis that you threw at the other creature, did you retrieve that, or did you leave that on the Ursay ship?
I left it there. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you took all the time to saw it off. I just was,
Well, like I said before, they're really not worth a lot. They're tough. You can't even really braise them, or nobody wants them except bears.
I'm set.
So, no, I guess I just see if I look at the monitor and see what the chemical makeup is. Maybe if I can get an idea of what's in there, I get an idea of what atmosphere this type of entity needs. I can try to get some idea of its dietary requirements, its waste.
Yeah, give me
human brains.
Give me give me 2 medical rolls at your full bonus.
2, okay.
Nobody's seeing this at all, Don.
That was.
All right, there's 1.
I was gonna say they're giving me nothing.
And there's 2.
Ooh, 14, 16. All right. So yeah, you get a fairly, I mean, over the course of that week, you spend a fair amount of time down in the hold looking at this creature, and you do learn some things about it. One thing is, and you have to work with Jin a little bit to sort of sort this out, but the creature does give off a little bit of that jump space radiation. Now, not as much as the other creature, and certainly not in any directed way, but you do recognize that the shielding associated with the tank itself is sort of blocking it from detection. Jin only is able to detect it because Jin is now connected to the tank, right? So he's drawing power from the fusion reactor and that kind of stuff. So Jin's like, yeah, this thing radiates that weird anomalous jump space radiation. A little differently though, the radiation being shed by this creature is essentially normalized wave patterns, right? Which is very different from what Jin was detecting from the other creature that wasn't in the tank, which was a lot of non-normal spikes and flows in the radiation. This one seems stable. It's radiating a stable amount of jump space waveforms. Second, as far as medical is doing, I mean, you've tried to get a certain picture of this creature's physiology. And the thing that you have noticed, you've frankly, it's pissing you off because you've learned virtually nothing about its digestive system or anything like that. What you have determined is that behind that enormous eye is an equally enormous brain. The brain takes up most of the skull cavity. It does not have much in the way of other sensory apparatus. You can detect no ears. There are some tympanic membranes which could serve and might be kind of sensitive, which you suspect may have been what were set off when Weber tried to talk to it. But it doesn't have any sort of audio sensory capabilities. You don't see anything resembling a scent capability that it's able to smell. It has really just that one big eye, which is backed up by a lot of brain tissue, and then the mouth. Now there's a pretty sizable tongue inside that mouth, and the teeth are sort of that anglerfish looking teeth. But the digestive system, from what you can determine through various scans and stuff like that, seems to be relatively rudimentary as well. Musculature is, well, you're reminded of the creatures that you've dissected, the ones that you've managed to kill and dissect. It seems to be that undifferentiated muscle tissue that seems well, it looks like when you open a can of potted meat, right? It's universal. It doesn't seem to have any sort of texture to it that would indicate muscle. Yet the creature moves as if it does have a normal musculature, but it does not.
I hope for this creature's sake it doesn't have any sort of penis.
As far as you can tell, and frankly, Wagner looked. It does not seem to have any reproductive organs of any kind.
You dodged the bullet there, Mel. You dodged the bullet there, Melvin.
Well, I can't see much use for it. There's nothing from it I can sell. It seems like it could be quite intelligent based on its brain size. I'd have to attach monitors to check brain activity and see what's going on there, but this thing gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I just don't think there's any sellable parts.
I know.
Can you detect traveler skills? See if it's got shipped weapon skills or.
Can it fire? Can it fire a gun? Maybe you guys, newest member of the crew, Melvin.
Yep. Melvin.
So you can do some rudimentary brainwave scans like you would do, and it doesn't resemble anything like a human brainwave scan. I mean, you puzzle over these charts for a little while, Dr. Wagner, and the best analogy that you can come up with is that there are certain portions of this creature's brainwaves that seem to look a little bit like human dream state, like REM state brainwaves, but it's certainly not exact. and you can see that the creature is definitely not asleep and dreaming. But the brainwaves do, in certain cases, seem to mimic similar patterns.
I have a question for the doctor. Is there anything that indicates this might be artificially created by other intelligence, or does it seem like it follows an evolutionary track to get to these things? It seems pretty odd duck so far.
Well, I do see that maiden green part stamped on the bottom of its left foot.
Echo and green pernt.
Yes, Encho Amano green part. No, I've never really met any being that was able to create life forms, at least not like this. Sea monkeys, sure, but we didn't really create them. We just put these eggs in the water and they hatched.
It could be the end result of some sort of Pokemon style evolution for sea monkeys.
It could
It's
be.
like evolutionary 4 of a Pokemon. I see it. I got it.
It does look a little sea monkey-ish.
It does kind of. Are there any other things that you guys want to do before you arrive and before you jump out, you fall out of jump in Cymberline?
I'm gonna get a stiff drink.
Okay. All right. So you guys passed the week. I mean, there isn't any problems. One thing that Gin lets you know, and Jin's been very helpful and that kind of stuff. He's doing his job, but he does say he will admit that. You remember he told you about the proximity alerts that he was getting periodically that he got when you guys were at the Ursay ship. He now suspects that there is some sort of error in the prox alert system, and he's been running diagnostics because periodically he's been getting prox alerts while you guys have been traveling in jump space, and that
can't happen.
That can't happen. So he thinks that there may be some sort of diagnostic issue. He's run some primary, secondary, and tertiary diagnostics on the prox alert system, and in general, he's run some general diagnostics on the sensory system. He can't find anything wrong, but like you, Tam, he knows that getting proximity alerts in jump space is not a thing that happens. It's
nope.
Physically impossible.
Yep. And
the prox alerts, he will mention that the prox alerts seem to be coming from the ship itself. And it's like, he goes, the best analogy that I can bring is like we are somehow interposed with another ship, but that's impossible. We would, if we collided with another ship, certainly I would hope that I would know about it before it actually happened. And second, there would be a lot of interesting things happening if we collided with a ship. So obviously we have not collided with a ship. So it's got to be a problem with the thing. So he does mention to the captain, and Tam's speaking for the captain, when you guys talked about getting the repairs in Cymberline, obviously some work on the AI is going to have to be done so that he can control the weapon systems. You could probably have them look to see if they can diagnose what's going on. Yeah, the sensor arrays.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that you can, I mean, it would have to be done. Well, it probably would require a physical examination of the sensor array pipettes, and frankly, you can't leave the ship in jump space. I mean, if you guys were in real space, you could go on spacewalk and go and check out and see if there was like, there's a tennis ball in the sensor array kind of thing.
Plus, let's have some experts do it more often than once every month or year or whatever.
Right.
Okay. I would at least postulate that maybe, from a human species point of view, maybe we don't take it, maybe we double check the ship before we get to civilized space. But we'd have to drop out and jump to do it.
Okay.
But that's Captain's decision again.
Captain's back. Captain Black is back. What do you say?
How civilized is Cymberline? I didn't get the impression it was that.
Oh no, it's civilized.
It's not so much about civilized, but there's people there, and I'm afraid we're bringing a dangerous life form to where people are. That's all. Go ahead. I watch too many movies.
Cymberline is quite civilized, but it's also a fringe system, and it's also at war, and they're at war with Kaguk, and so there's a bit of they're. I mean, from a point of view, I mean, they're sort of a little green printy in that they're very commercial focused, and they're not, but they're far enough away from Terra where they're just like, well, Terran law is a good idea. But generally, it's probably not really super applicable out here. They were also the last stop to get down to this station in the Georgia system. So they do serve not only as a transshipment spot, but you see those three. Well, you can't see it because you're not on the right screen. I'm on a totally different screen than you guys. What the hell, man? All right. So you see Cymberline there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see these the blue lines are sort of transshipment primary transshipment routes. So Ember to Cymberline and Ember to Kaga. So Ember is sort of like catering this war. The Cymberlines and the Kaglukians, they don't get along because of a variety of reasons. But you see this yellow area out here. There are essentially fuel stations out there that will allow jump 3 ships. And jump 4 ships to get from Cymberline to Georgia and refuel and route. So Cymberline maintains those fuel stations out there in deep space, and they're coded. I mean, even Gin knows where those stations are. They are static. They're in deep space, but they are supplied by Cymberline. So yeah, it's got all the comforts of home, but the law levels aren't as tight as you would find in the cluster.
Got it.
Do we think we'd be likely to be scanned, either coming or going, landing in Cymberline?
Well, remember that the Gin Tonic can't land. It doesn't have. I mean, it can't land in a planetary in a gravity well. So you will be offboarding whatever it is to offboard. You'll be doing that in orbit. But yeah, I mean, the likelihood is that they're scanned. I mean, you could check it out. Essentially, there will be a general ship scan to ensure that that you're not essentially a floating bomb, or that you're filled with effronter Marines or something like that. Beyond that, they have pretty liberal ideas of personal responsibility and privacy. Much more so than Terra does. So the likelihood that's as far as those scans will go. Plus, you've got this tank, and frankly, Gin wasn't able to scan the creature. I mean, this tank is insulated from that kind of thing. So while it might be scanned as a power source, that it's bleeding energy into an energy field, it didn't. Gin wasn't able to read it as a creature.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
So I mean,
are we there yet?
5 more minutes. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, you guys drop out of Cymberline, drop out of jump space into Cymberline system. Cymberline system is an interesting system, and I'm going to just show you a little bit of it here.
Well, before you go there, can you tell me if we heard from Spoculum?
So you're going to check when you drop out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you did get a subspace message, text only, that basically says, transfer complete. I will not be meeting you there. Good luck. Keep me posted. Signed, when.
I would like to write back to her right away, tell her we have an update that we would prefer to give in person. Please advise where and when we can meet.
Okay, it's going to be several hours. Yeah, it's going to be several hours. But she will
time to offload then. Now,
yeah. Well, no, you've got essentially you've come out at the Lagrange point. Now you have to like sort of steam in on fusion drive to get to the thing. So
Cymberline wanted to do it right away.
Yeah, Cymberline system AI traffic control reaches out quite easily. You do find that the Lagrange points are crowded. Not because there's a ton of traffic coming in, although there is some, but there are what are obviously warships. But it's sort of like, so as a former naval captain in the Terran Navy, Interstellar Navy, Captain Black, you know a proper warship when you see one. These are not proper warships. These are essentially regular ships, some cargo, some scout ships, things like that, that essentially have been upgunned to become warships. And there are 2 or 3 posted around every Lagrange point where people could, where ships could pop in out of jump space. And essentially, they basically have this whole thing. And Jin will tell you that the moment you come into system at the Lagrange point, you're like, Jin's like, we have we're being locked onto. Targeting computers have locked onto us. I'm broadcasting that we are a commercial vessel, as per my usual, and they're checking our bona fides. So basically, you get that the Cymberline Navy is watching the Lagrange points, probably to make sure that no Koglukians try to attack the system, or if they do, they get a welcome reception.
Okay.
So Jin's like, I've gotten clearance. We head out. We're going to go to. Hold on, I gotta find the name of it. Vectral Station, VECTRAL, and that is the primary station above this planet right here. So you can see the system map here for the schematic. You can see what this system is. So this is Cymberline Station. They have a primary star, and then very close to that star, less than 1 astronomical unit, is a standard planet. That is that is not generally inhabited by humans. There are some humans there, but that planet is more reserved for the native aliens of this place, and Jim will tell you that they are called the Cymberlinese, or Sims. They're called. They are a silicon-based life form that thrives in high heat and dense corrosive atmosphere. So the humans there are generally those who are working with the Cymberlinese to build silicon products. Jin knows that there are a lot. There are some elements of AI technology that can use Cymberlinese silicon products. These creatures are essentially silicon life forms that are working with the humans on various kinds of computer elements. But that planet is, I don't think they're Horda, but that planet is very hot and inimitable to life. But it does have an atmosphere. Then you can have a couple of asteroid belts, destroyed planets, really, surrounded by a gas giant. That third planet out, again, within an astronomical unit of the star, is a gas giant. And between the star's gravity and the gas giant's gravity, it basically took these 2 white ones, which are planetary planets, and basically crushed them gravitational. So there are 2 big sort of asteroid belts with a gas giant in the middle of them. That's where a lot of fuel comes from. There's a lot of good fuel that is harvested from there, and there are a variety of mining operations going on in those asteroid belts that are served by that fuel. There's another gas giant here, not as productive. This is the primary system. It is primary planet. It is called Vectral, and it is about 3 astronomical units away. About I think it's about Mars distance, unless I miss my solar system. It has an atmosphere. It has a very dense atmosphere, and a little bit heavier gravity than Earth, but certainly amenable. Then you have out a couple of more gas giants. This one out at 10 AUs, that's about Jupiter sized. Again, you have a lot of fuel being harvested from there, but that's essentially Cymberline system. You guys are going to have to tank in from a little ways off at the Lagrange point, but you tank into here past these things. It takes you 6 or 7 hours, during which time Jin is essentially talking to traffic control AI, and they're waving you in. Essentially, they, Jin has already let them know that you have farm implements and is it implements? Not farm implements. Maybe it is farm implements. I don't know.
Equipment. Okay, equipment.
Hold on, I got to check the ledger.
Utensils, equipment.
Farming parts and equipment and processed minerals, and so they will wave you in. They're like, welcome to Cymberline. We'll do some proper scans when you dock. Your party will meet you at dock 1473.
What's your space lot lizard situation like over here? Cymberline?
We have all we can handle. If you're talking about the eyeball lizard in the tank that we just scanned you for, just keep that in the tank. No, there's a fair amount of traffic here, in a weird combination. So like at Calgary, so this system is quite a bit different from Calgary. So Calgary is essentially controlled and populated by Terran military forces. There is a civilian component, but largely the commercial efforts there are to supply that military outpost. This is different. The military here is definitely local and non-Terran, and there's a fair amount of commercial activity too. There's a lot of gas being made here, so the spaceship fuel that's being, and your guess is that a fair amount of it is being transported out to that gas station. But it looks like your guess is that they're making more than they can use. So gas might be cheaper. So you do get to dock 1473. You dock successfully. You equal positive pressure, and they're like, scan complete. You guys can open your airlocks now. You have a visitor in the waiting area just outside the dock line area. He's been he's made it clear that he's waiting for you. Welcome to Cymberline.
Okie doke.
Glad to be here.
I'll throw on my special Lando Calrissian cloak to greet our visitor and get ready to wheel and deal. Maybe this is a good time to throw the velvet thing that was it Captain was ordering over Melvin, in case we have as the robots are offboarding things. We should probably not have him in the middle of the
So the first thing you notice is that you don't have any automated offboarders come. In fact, as you sort of like flick on the outside lights, and you begin the cycle process for the airlocks and the cargo deck, nobody's really come, except for that you see like one guy come walking up. Once the airlocks are cycled, there's air inside the dock now, so you're in a sealed dock area, and it's been pressurized so that you guys can walk outside without suits and stuff like that. And you just see one guy kind of like, he sort of ambles up, and you see him look at his watch and that kind of stuff as he's waiting for you guys to come along. And this is at some point I'm sure Weber goes, give me visual on that guy that's waiting for us. Yeah. And this is what he looks like. He's just sort of standing there, human dude, looks fairly no nonsense.
Okay.
I don't like him already. All right, let's go talk to him.
Okay, so you guys come out?
Yep.
All right, so is anybody staying on the ship, or you guys coming out like a big street gang, or?
I'll go out. I mean, that's my job.
We're here to chew bubble gum and
hey boss, I'll stay on the ship. Call me if you need me.
Or are you coming with?
Be down in the cargo hold.
I'm talking to the dock.
So Doc and Tam are staying on board?
Okay, Doc may have wandered off. All right. Coffin, you good? We go in with Lumberjacks? Okay. So we got the
Reservoir Dog style, side by side.
Yeah, I this is our first time here. I think it should be standard procedure for when meeting a new contact for me to come out armored and armed.
I defer to what we know about the station, if they're going to take that as a bad sign or not.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to be fully armored.
Well, armor is no problem. Coming out with essentially a squad automatic energy weapon, that might draw a little more attention. You do know that the legal structures around here preclude open weaponry. Now, it's legal to own it. It's legal to have it. But it's not. You can't just this isn't Florida. You can't just carry it around. Sorry, Dan.
Well, all right. Then I will leave my energy rifle in my suite, and I'll bring Betsy my 9mm carbine.
Is that concealable?
If I wear a long coat.
Okay. All right. Cool. We can do that. Anybody else carrying a concealed weapon and ready to go to jail?
He's gonna look like what's his name in Terminator with the shotgun down his.
Oh, yeah?
I'll bring my usual body pistol, you know, but
Okay.
it's concealed, very concealed.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure what very concealed is. It's like you'd have to search my entire rectum to find it.
I've got my regular thing, just my arm.
Okay. But it does have a gun in it right now.
Stun stick.
Oh, okay. I thought you had you replaced that with a pistol of sorts.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't to replace. It was going to be, could I do both? That's what we had.
And I think we agreed that you could.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Then it has both concealed in it.
All right. As soon as you guys, so the gantry sort of levers open, and you guys sort of step down on the thing, and you see this guy kind of like, aha, and he comes over and he's like, hello, are you Captain Black? Yes.
Yes.
I am Sergey. We have a mutual friend. Yeah.
Oh, Sergey. Yes, of course.
It's good to see you. And he grabs your hand and gives you one, a double-handed handshake. And he's like, our mutual friend said that it was possible that I could help you with certain things. Would you and your friends like to join me for some drinks to talk this over?
I think that sounds wonderful.
I know an excellent place.
Delightful.
Please accompany me. Tell me, how was your trip?
With neural lace, I make sure I let these guys know this is the guy who's going to help us with the guns on the ship.
Cool.
Okay. And you let even Tam back on the ship know?
Pardon?
You let Tam on the ship know again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Neural lace, everybody knows.
All right, everybody. So, Eric? Did Coffin get his lace yet? He hasn't had a chance to yet, has he?
I want to, but I haven't had time. And I also, you told me that it takes some time to get it surgically planted, and then there's a time of recovery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
True. About 2 to 3 weeks.
I've got a set in my office. All you had to do is come by.
Really?
Don't
He's got a
do it.
set.
Thank you, good price.
Don't do it. He's thinking it over. He's like, Dr. Wagner seems exactly the sort of physician that I want operating on my brain.
And you're getting
Maybe
any
we'll get it done
complaints
before
from the
you leave, and
wife.
then you
I've got
can,
a tiger penis.
Thank you.
When we're leaving somewhere, but
He wakes up and it's just sticking out of his forehead. He's like, what the hell is that? Well, that's a tiger penis. That's what you wanted,
You'll love
right?
it.
I walk around like this, take it off. Oh, I can't take it off now.
You want to know where the balls are?
Ah! I'll never be the same. All right, so Sergey is like, so how was your? Did you have a good flight? Everything is okay, yes?
It was wonderful.
Excellent, excellent. And how is our mutual friend? He's doing well. He's the same happy-go-lucky sort that I visited before.
He's a lovely gentleman. We were honored and thrilled to meet him.
Did he take you hunting?
We went hunting. It was a
Sure
lot
did.
of fun.
What? Tell me, what was it that you hunted?
We hunted tigers. We had a blast.
Excellent, excellent. He is a very cheerful. As my friends go, he is of the more cheerful sort. I always enjoy those times, which are increasingly rare. But I always enjoy those times when I can spend a few days with our mutual friend. Anyway, he told me so that you guys come to a little place, and it's pretty obvious that they know Sergey there. He goes in and he greets a couple of people, and he's like, hey, and they're like, Sergey, that kind of thing, and he's like, yes, it's good to see you, and he's like, please, and he takes you into what would be called like a cloister. Essentially, it's a room within the bar. You see him in if any of you have ever been to Ireland, if you go into the old bars in there. A lot of the old places will have these like little rooms inside the bars, and originally I learned they were because women weren't allowed to drink with the men in the main bar, so the rooms were set aside so that women could drink, but outside of men's company. But now they're just used for private rooms. So he goes to one of these. They bring over, in this case, several different bottles of extremely cold vodka. Or what looks like vodka. It's a clear thing, and he's in a bunch of shot glasses, and he's like, in honor of new friendships, I propose a toast to my new friends, the friends of my affronter friend. And he pours the vodka. He's like, "Salud," and drinks it.
Good.
And that's basically what it is. It's high test vodka, as far as you can tell. Very cold, very smooth, very well made. He
Excellent.
refills all the glasses and he says, "Look, you're in town. I think it is best we discuss the preliminaries." When I received the information from my friend, he did not go into any details as to what sort of things that you required. He did tell me that you were interested in buying some weaponry for your ship, which we can do. He also said that you needed some expertise as far as looking at tuning up your ship's AI to ensure that they could handle it. But he did not go into details, and the impression I got from our friend is that you at the time had not necessarily settled on a particular suite of weaponry that you were interested in. So why don't we take this time and have a few drinks and talk about what it is that I can do for you?
Okay. Well, I'll let him know it's not like we're trying to take down an entire armada with anything that we get, nor do we have that kind of funds anyway.
Understand completely. The universe is a dangerous place. A man in your position must obviously, as a captain of a large cargo ship, must be in position to defend that cargo. I completely understand.
So, and obviously we're open to suggestion as far as your expertise goes, but we were imagining a single double turret.
Double turret is doable. If you will permit me, over the course of the next, when we finish our discussion here, what I will do is I will send over a few technicians to take a look at your ship. Yes, and we can determine the best areas for hard poise, making sure that things are. But yes, I would think a double turret would be appropriate. The tonnage of your ship will certainly compare it, and it is quite manageable from an AI augmentation standpoint. Double turret we can do.
Did we want to I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was also wondering, do we want to consult with Jen and ask Jen? Does Jen? I mean, are we gonna update Jen to a more robust military grade AI?
That is part of the plan. Well, so military grade AI are grown in the consortium. Obviously, that's not something. What we can do is we can take your existing AI and we can add some elements and some programming and augmentations that will allow your current AI to control the weapon systems in a satisfactory manner. Typically, a military grade AI is not. It's not necessary for small ships of this nature. Usually they require them on battleships. There is a variety of interesting things that must happen. A lot of them turn into highly aggressive mines, which I will assure you do not want on your nice ship. But we can certainly to address your questions, Mr. Doyle, we can certainly augment your AI in the appropriate ways. We do this routinely.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, good.
So if we're looking at a double turret, have you talked about any sort of defensive mechanisms?
No, we had not. Don't necessarily have the funds for any of the defensive mechanisms that were there.
As somebody who does this, as a matter of course, in general, I hate to recommend the inclusion of a double turret, and I'm assuming that you want a beam laser on each of those turrets, or did you have a specific? We were interested in mason weapons or anything like anything more?
I'm trying to find the email you sent me last.
I have it right in front of me.
Okay, it was not the cheapest one. It was the next notch up.
All right, so that would be a beam laser, which does 2d6 worth of damage on a direct hit. Cost hovers around the mega credit individual. For this, it would be 2 mega credits, which we would have to put in. Then, at that being the case, however, and the double turret would add another half a mega credit to that, since you are a friend of my mutual friend, and I am looking forward to the opportunity to do more business with you in the future. But hopefully, obviously, I've arranged with our mutual friend for a discount, 20%. So we're talking right around 2 mega credits for the installation. Now, there will be a little bit of extra charges for some of the augmentation, which I'm sure you're aware of and we can take care of. However, I am generally reluctant to put on offensive capabilities and not, at least I would not feel I would be doing my duty if I did not also recommend some defensive capabilities. I do like to recommend, I think nuclear dampers are good to have. Beyond that, screening, I also feel like a sandcaster is also something that you may want to consider. Defensive measures are always good, especially in the case that one has to beat a hasty retreat to a Lagrange point to enable the jump drives.
I finally found it, so I'm looking now.
Okay.
Those are 50 mega credits?
Oh no, a sandcaster holds 4 canisters of stand, and what they do is they disrupt laser beams, beam weapons, and pulse
The
weapons.
nuclear dampener was 50 mega credits.
The nuclear dampener is, yes, it's 50. Don't read that. It's 50 kilo credits. But the one we would be able to install would probably be a front damper only. If you wanted to full surround dampers, then the cost would obviously go up.
Oh, 50 kilo credits. Well, we can afford that.
Yeah. If we were to do the full panoply of nuclear screens and meson screens, which you could do if you wanted to do both, that would be a good defensive array. Add some sandcasters in there for, I would suggest maybe 2 for another half a mega credit. Let me do a little bit. 6 sides, 7, 8 times 50 kilos is 400 kilos plus the meson screen, again times 8, 48. Let's just call it an even 9. Plus 2 sandcasters, another 1.4. And again, I will take the 20% off. So 20% off on that would be 7, I think, no, it's 2.280. So that would take the cost down to 1.125. Let's say an even extra mega credit. And then we'll give you the sandcasters and the full screens, both nuclear and meson.
Do we have another mega credit? I don't think we do.
I think so.
Just trying to
charge it.
If price is an issue, perhaps we can we have to come to an arrangement.
Captain, didn't you stick some money in a sock for a rainy day, as I recall, when we were first negotiating with Coffee Lamb? I remember specifically a mega credit falling off the back of a truck.
Maybe
before
so.
it got the rest of it got to us.
Les, I'm looking at Coffin Doyle's character sheet, and which I rolled up a million years ago. It says here I have 110,000 credits. Is that possible?
Sure. 110 kilo credits? Yeah, sure. That's probably your share. Let me look at the bank real quick.
Most of us have a retirement fund too. I think mine's like 66.
Yeah, your previous bank was like 380 kilo credits. So that 110 is probably the remainder after your shopping trip.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is a number that's been on this sheet in this Word file for a long time. I'm actually not sure where this number came from. I got it when I auto generated this character from that Traveler character roll up gadget.
So that was probably your starting money. Yeah. And you probably haven't changed anything. So according to the ship's ledger, prior to whatever shopping that you did, you would have had, your share would have been 380.11 kilocredits. So that would be on top of that 110. Now I don't remember. I have your shopping list somewhere, but I don't have it in front of me. But we could go that route. And I know that in some cases, didn't you ask for people to kick back in for the ship's guns, or are you still okay?
But that was about we ended up getting a few hundred kilocredits.
Okay.
Not a mega credit though.
Not a mega credit. Okay. So Sergey says, look, I understand price is always an issue, and that we're not talking about a small amount of money here. So perhaps I can help you with that. Let me pose something to you and see if you're interested. So I have, in addition to the business that I'm doing with you, I have a variety of other business that I do, and one of those is I ship a variety of things to the Tewfik system. The Tewfik system is a bit backward, but I do it out of love. My uncle is from there and still lives there. It is essentially a system that is essentially revolves around farming. They tend to be quite overtly religious, and so they tend to shy away from most of participating in the sort of what we would call the intergalactic consortium. They've gone there to engage in their own level of things. However, that's immaterial. What I have is one of the things that characterizes their planet, in the planet in Tewfik, is they have a very diverse and quickly moving microbiome, a variety of bacteria. So as you can imagine, they are always caught between this disease and that disease and this microbiome and that microbiome. They're always needing new drugs and new antibacterials and all sorts of things to help them to stay healthy. Because of my uncle, I helped them in this regard. I have a couple of crates of pharmaceuticals that I have been planning to take there. I would normally use some of my regular guys, but they are all busy with other things, including one of them has now left my employ to go join the fight against the hated Kaglukians. So perhaps if you are interested in something like that, while I am working on your vessel, the Tewfik system is actually quite close to Cymberline. It's only it can be reached by fusion drive. You could take the pharmaceuticals perhaps in your shuttle, steam out there, deliver it, come back. I knock half a mega credit off the bill. What do you say?
Half a mega credit is pretty good. And I'm sure there's no underlying secret agenda here.
I'm sure there's not.
I've spoken to your game master, and he tells me that there is no secret agenda of any kind, nor has he prepared any maps or MacGuffins for this sort
of. Well, gentlemen, how do we feel about this little side trip?
Let me tell you first.
Take the deal.
Let me tell you first. It's going to take me probably close to 3 weeks to get all of the installations on your ship, and then maybe we will work on all of these things at the same time. I will press the matter to make sure that it is ready to take the shuttle out to Tewfik. I think it's probably around a 6-day trip for a shuttle of your capabilities. At least what I understand your ship's capabilities are. Just 6 days out. You take a day, you deliver the pharmaceuticals, you come back 6 days. We'll be looking at a week left. You'll be my guest. And I will I knock a half a mega credit off the deal, and I will be very appreciative.
And you're saying we'd be doing this in the Wedge of Lime?
Yes, in your ship's shuttle. What is you call it, the slice of lime.
That was me talking to the GM there. Sorry.
Yeah, slice of lime. He's like, you've got enough cargo room. He's talking about only a couple of largish crates, maybe 6 by 6, could easily fit in the shuttle bay or in the bay area of the shuttle.
Would we also be able to fit the alien tube in there with it?
Nope, not with the shuttle. Now I'm assuming. Do you want to have a conversation with him about what's in the cargo bay? Because you still have other cargo in the bay.
Right.
Well, that's what I was thinking. But that cargo, other than the alien, is getting offloaded here, right?
Yeah, it's being delivered here.
So this could be a doable deal, but only once we somehow find something to do with that alien.
I sense you have some misgivings about this. Since we have been introduced by our mutual friend, that now we are two friends. Let me help you with this if there is a problem. Explain to me, and maybe I can be of assistance.
We just need. We have certain cargo that needs to be offloaded before we can abandon the ship.
I can take care of the. I checked. Forgive my presumption, but I checked on the manifests before you arrived. I do know that you have some minerals and some farm equipment. I can make arrangements for all that and ensure that the prices is taken care of. Not a problem. I will take care of it for you.
That's the easy stuff to offload. We could just get that offloaded. We have something else that needs to be delivered to a private client. And we haven't arranged that yet.
Is this contraband?
Not necessarily, but it's the kind of thing you don't ask if it's contraband, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. I have engaged in that on several occasions. Well, if it is something that you simply wish that I leave alone and not alert any authorities to, that can be easily arranged. You can be assured of my discretion in these matters.
Yeah, I guess what I'd be asking is, can the delivery of the pharmaceuticals wait a couple of days to give us a chance to offload our goods? And you can already have access to the ship and start looking at the hard points and stuff.
Yes, there's no rush. These people in Tewfik, they are a bit stiff. I don't always like to go there and deal with them. But again, my uncle, how could I forgive myself if something bad was to happen to my uncle? So yeah, I think a couple of days would be fine.
All right, then we got a deal.
All right. He reaches over, shakes your hand again, fills up the glasses again, and he's like, all right, then now we begin to drink in earnest to celebrate our new friendship. So tell me, how is it that you came to meet our mutual friend? I'm very interested because he is not the kind of creature that one meets crossing the street on your home planet. So
I mean, he's quite a hugger. I mean, right? Am I right? Am I right?
Am I right?
he is. He nearly killed some of my friends. He is very affectionate, that one. He is atypical for his race.
He wouldn't be the sort of person I would normally hang out with, but we had a good time with our good friend Colonel Seven-Tide.
Yeah, he basically tells you the same sort of story. He's done some business with the Colonel. They go back ways. So one of the things that Sergei has done in the past is he has provided weapons to he's procured weapons for the Cymberline naval forces and ground forces. And frankly, and he'll be the first to admit, I don't know where he gets all these weapons in quantity, but somehow he has a connection that comes up with great weapons. He goes, his prices are good. He goes, I've done business with him on several occasions. It's made me a moderately wealthy man. But I can also help him out when he sends clients my way. It's always great to know. But he also went on a hunt. He didn't have tigers when he was there. It was some sort of 8-legged spider creature that apparently they had ramped up on some sort of amphetamine that they hunted when he was there. But he's like, he is a degenerate hunter. I have never met anyone that takes so much pleasure in the murder of other species. If it wasn't so horrifying sometimes, it would be downright amusing, but that kind of thing. He's, so Sergei is sort of like, he's a crazy one, that Colonel. But yeah, so you guys tell a few stories and spend a pleasant evening. I'm assuming at the end of the evening, Sergei's like, would you like to, do you plan to stay aboard your ship, or do you want me to make arrangements for you at one of our fine local hotels? There are plenty to choose from.
I'll stay near the ship, I think, just because, it's my duty.
He is in charge of ship.
He said duty.
Duty.
What is this word duty? No, he's like, that's fine. What about the rest of you? Weber, I know you are a connoisseur of good hotels and fine scotch.
Feel free, Weber. Go ahead and make some connections for us. Maybe you
I'd
can
be
even
happy to do that.
more,
In fact, I like to consider myself a bit of a risk taker, a gambler, if you know what I mean. I like the games. I like the ponies. I like the cards.
You
and I haven't had a
enjoy
chance to
gambling.
reflect that part of my personality yet.
You enjoy gambling. I know an excellent casino where I can introduce you to the maitre d'. He will welcome you.
Well, this is why Weber Jix has had so many ex-wives.
Maybe Tam would like to do some gambling too.
Oh yeah, I forgot Tam considers himself quite the gambler.
Considers himself.
Or not.
No. Wow.
Yeah, I'll be off to make some connections.
Okay. All right. So
Yes, I made it back.
Broken even. So yeah. So I mean, so some of you are going back. Coffin's going back to the ship. You know, Tam and Jix are going to accompany Sergey to the casino, which is a nice casino, but it's also obviously a very private casino. So there's a few minutes where Sergey basically is like explaining to these guys that you're his guests. You do see what looks to be you know, a clash of credit sticks, that maybe there was some backsheesh going on, but yeah, then they welcome you and they, you know, they're like, please, we have please avail yourself of our casino. We welcome you. Any friend of Sergey's is a friend of ours. And so, you know, they give you a small electronic chit that allows you to go from place to place. The doors sort of open automatically. You go to all the things, and it allows you also to transfer credits over into their private system. And so that you can actually, you know, take chips out and that kind of stuff, sort of the credit thing.
By the way, just oh, wait, sorry about that. Just to clarify for myself, I do not have any gambling skills. I have forgery skills, among other things, and carousing. So carousing is sort of on the edge of gambling, isn't it, Les?
Well, so here's the deal. You don't have to have gambling skills, but you put it, like, you can see what Don has done. He essentially made a gambling macro, which I love. So here's the deal. If you you place your bet and then you roll your gambling skill. If you get a 7 or less, you lose your money. If you get an 8 even, you break even. If you get better than 8, you win. And that's essentially how this works. So you can see he lost the first 1,000, then doubled down, bet 2,000, broke even.
Broke even. So I'm still down 1,000.
You're still down 1,000 credits. Yeah. So he may stay. I mean, you gotta let it ride.
So
no, I gotta go again.
What is carousing good for then?
Well, if you want to impress some people at the bar, that's what carousing's good for.
All right, I'm gonna carouse the hell out of it.
Oh, now you're.
All right, I'm
down 3.
Hold on, I gotta get a screenshot of that.
That's awful.
This is right up there with your -1 initiative from last time we played.
Didn't even think that was possible. All right, I also am going to.
You gonna try gambling?
Yeah, carousing won't help me on gambling skill, right?
There you go. I'm even total for the night. I'm done.
All right, here we go.
Breaking even Steven.
Betting 1,000. Ooh, winner.
Betting 1,000. You said, all right, yeah. So you win 1,000.
You win 1,000.
Right,
you come on. You gotta let it ride.
No.
Come on, you're hot. You're not gonna stop when you're hot.
One more time. Oh yeah.
Oh, break even. So you're still. It was another 1,000, right? You didn't change your bet. Okay.
Nope.
All right, you gotta let it ride. You gotta ride that way, buddy.
One more. Here we go.
Oh, you lost. Now you're at 0.
Even.
Yeah, you're
at 0.
All right. But I hope that I made some friends while I was carousing here.
Oh yeah. So give me a carousing roll.
Let some alien with tentacles blow on my dice or whatever. All right, carousing roll. There we go.
10 on a carousing roll. All right, so yeah, so I mean, you make some friends, including the attention of some attractive semi-Slavic women, and you know, everybody seems. Sergey eventually departs. He's like, I do not gamble, but I love to see other people enjoy themselves. It is a pleasure to meet both of you. I will see you in the next couple of days. I will stop by with some technicians tomorrow to begin making the preliminary inspections of the ship, talk to your AI, and start shouting out what we need to do.
Okay.
All right. And so you sure you don't want to bet one more?
All right, one more.
Another foul? Let it ride, bud. Get it in there. 2.
2,000.
All right, here we go.
Oh, that's a plus.
Break even.
Yeah. No, that was a plus. That was a loser.
That is a loser. Oh, you're down $2,000.
Nope, we're done.
Well, but you have a good time, and you certainly make the acquaintance of several people who, I mean, you're like, you know, it's a lot of fun. And Tam, you join him at the crafts tables there for a while, and everybody's having a rollicking good time.
Technically, Gawker joined him.
Okay, Gawker joined him. So Gawker, you are up $3,000, right?
No, I am broken
broke
even for
even.
the evening.
Broke even for the so both and
The last one was
I'm down
3,000, but
too.
I was down 3,000 for the night. So
oh, okay. It was your last ditch attempt to break even. Okay, and then you're down 1,000. So yeah, so I mean, you guys have a pleasant night, and this private casino actually makes a recommendation regarding a hotel. Sergey told us to recommend this particular hotel, and I'm assuming you guys go there. It's 500 credits a night, but it's a pretty nice place.
I think I still have money in my pocket. I'll make a jingle.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Making it rain. All right. All right. So next day arrives, and Captain Black, you get a notification from Cargo Manifestation that they've got you down for 10 tons of farming equipment and 70 tons of processed minerals. They're prepared to begin the offloading process. It will take approximately 32 hours. They will need access to the cargo hold. Is all that satisfactory?
Yes.
Okay.
Where'd you put Melvin?
What are you going to do with Melvin?
Well, for this part of it, we can just move Melvin into any of our crew areas, right?
Yeah.
You're going to take him upstairs and just put him in the primary
they don't
room?
need access to that area.
Yeah. Put him next to put him in the shower area.
Just put him in the shower with a couple of bags of ice.
And sunglasses on.
I've been to that party. All right, we'll just move this. Hold on.
For this visit, and then we're offloading the rest of the cargo. So we can get paid for that, and then we move him, hide him away. We could probably even hide him in the slice of lime.
he won't fit in the slice of lime.
He will fit in the slice of lime. That's how you got over here. But if you put him in the slice of lime, you can't put anything else in the slice.
Right.
Of lime.
Well, yeah.
Right. But this is just for the visits when they're coming to look at the hard points and stuff for now.
Make sure you leave him the keys just in case he has to move it.
I'm just hedging my bets until we hear from Spoculum, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do.
Okay. So you're just moving him upstairs.
Yeah. Just conveniently out of the way.
Okay. So right there by the dinner table, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you can watch us eat.
There you go. Perfect. All right. So yeah, so you get him out of there. You just use a grav truck and just get him up there. He's, again, he hasn't done anything aggressive. He's just sort of hanging out, and it's been, another week since that, and he has given no indication that he needs any sustenance. He hasn't reacted to any drugs that Dr. Wagner has put inside the, in the tank. He hasn't done anything, but you guys have sort of been like leaving him alone too. So, that's there. Cargo gets emptied out. Again, it takes about 32 hours, but I will update the ship's ledger. That is going to mean another 60. I'm looking at 60 kilocredits.
Okie doke.
Into the gross revenue. Cymberline bound.
Yay.
More than that, probably. More like 68. Okay. Just processed minerals, so 60. Okay. So they'll get him out of there pretty soon. You've moved Melvin out of the way. Sergey actually does show up with a couple of guys who look like no nonsense types, and he's like, these are my associates. They will begin the preliminary looks as far as looking at installing your hardpoint. At some point, probably while you're gone, we will need to move the ship. So at some point, you will have to provide permissions to your AI to allow us to allow either me, if you want to just have me get those permissions, or you can give it to one of my associates. We will probably have to move. It's not probably. We will certainly have to move this ship into a weapons mounting dry dock, which is in a different place. Same station, different dock.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Let me know when you are ready. We can eject your shuttle and bring it around, and I can provide you the things that we talked about the other day.
All right, we'll give you a word.
Okay. Is there anything that you guys want to do before, to sort of like prepare the ship or remove some things, or if there's anything like personal items you want to move into the shuttle. There's plenty of room on the shuttle for the 5 of you. It's not going to be super comfortable. It's going to be a little bit tight quarters, but certainly doable. You have a nice big shuttle.
I'm sure the doc will want to move some of his porn in there.
And his penis collection.
Yeah,
It's just
penis collection.
growing by leaps and bounds. So anything else that you guys want to move into the shuttle, or at least at the very least
Have we
lock
heard
up?
from Spoculum yet?
You did get a message from Spofulum. You had said to her, to Wen, that you had something that you needed to have picked up.
No, I said that we had an update for her that we would prefer to give her in person.
In person. So she's like, she says, because of business, I can't get out to Cymberline right now. But we can make, we can, how would we do this? She's like, look, I can't get out to Cymberline right now for an update. Please give me the best that you can on a video transfer. Use the standard encryption. She's like, I'm sorry, I just can't get out there right now.
All right. I let her know that we'll be stuck in Cymberline for a while, for a few weeks, and we will try to update her again when we get out of here.
Okay. She says, she comes back in a couple hours and says, what's your expectation of how long you're going to be in Cymberline system? Is it more than 3 weeks? Because if it is, then I might be able to move my schedule around. She's like, I'm not at headquarters right now. I'm in.
I would just say it's probably going to be 3 weeks. So let's just arrange a place to meet after that. It doesn't have to be Cymberline. We can meet someplace else.
Okay. She's like, I'll get back to you.
Good call, Captain.
Okay.
All right, boys. And that means we need to figure out what to do with Weekend at Bernie's here.
The old Weekend at Bernie's. Are you talking about Melvin?
Melvin.
My wingman, picking up the ladies with me and Melvin.
We should have brought Melvin to the casino.
I know.
Yes. Now that would have livened things up considerably.
Yeah. My friend's quiet. Let me do the speaking for him. What about checking for the anomalies we're finding, the subspace systems showing that we're having proximity alerts? That's it.
Do you talk to Sergey about that?
Absolutely.
No. We're just talking amongst ourselves right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing goes out to Sergey without Cat and Blood.
Yeah.
So I think we should talk to him.
How much are we going to trust Sergey? How much are we going to let him see Melvin and just say leave him alone, or what?
Well, this time we got a proximity alert. Could they double check the outside of their ship while they're putting the guns? See anything coming up that's more spores, molds, or fungus or something that's on the outside. We should be aware of.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about. What proximity alert?
These are the prox alerts that Gin has talked about. So remember when you guys were back at the
That was back when we were by the other ship.
They've continued. So
they continued all through that.
They continued in jump space.
Yeah, jump space, which is impossible.
Right.
Yeah, you had stepped away for a minute, but basically Jin said, "Look, I've done every diagnostic I can, but I'm still getting weird prox alerts that seem to be like we are intersecting with another ship. That's obviously impossible, because if that were actually the case, it would be far more dramatic than me coming to you and saying, hey, this is interesting. Intersecting with another ship is something that you don't want to do. But it's similar to the prox alerts that he's been getting. But in jump space, that can't happen. You don't have proximity alerts. You're folding space essentially, and there's no way that another ship can come near you. So that's just not how it works. So he's worried that something is wrong with his sensory array. Now he's done all the normal diagnostics, but he can't find anything wrong. But periodically, he still seems to get these weird tachyon prox alerts that seem to be coming either from inside the ship, but not in a ways that he can pinpoint it. And they do seem to be somewhat related to, I mean, it's hard to tell because you guys were in jump space, but they did seem to have some jump space radiation attached to them. But he's like, look, I've looked. There's nothing here. He's like, Captain, I know that I know that you're still pissed at me about that thing that got, that got in the ship. He goes, I've trained my sensory diagnostics to look for these kind of stuff. I can detect them. But I haven't found anything. All I get is the prox alerts, like that something's here. Then the prox alert, I check it out. I find nothing. Prox stays on for a while, and then it goes away.
We may only have two choices here. We either have to completely trust Sergey and just hope he doesn't double cross us, or maybe we try to lease a warehouse of some sort in Cymberline and store Melvin there, thinking it might be at least.
If you can't trust a black market arms dealer, who can you trust?
It's true.
Pretty much anybody else.
Well, what
You've been watching
motivation
too many
would you
movies.
have to betray us? I mean, if we come across to Sergey as people who want to do business, and if we come across as reliable, I think he might become an ally.
Yeah, I just don't know how valuable this particular alien may turn out to be. For enough money, an arms dealer will trade in a second, even if it means losing future business.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's that valuable. I don't know that it isn't.
So Gin will tell you that since you guys arrived in Cymberline, he's been connected to the Cymberline system AI, and he's basically done some surreptitious queries to find out if there's any sort of creature like this in the Cymberline encyclopedias, the libraries, and he's found nothing. He's found a couple of creatures that sort of look like this creature, but those creatures are they're not from anywhere around here, and they're not perfect examples. And certainly the data that Dr. Wagner has procured doing the various scans and stuff when you guys were in jump space, the creatures that are in the Cymberline system libraries, they're creatures, right? They're from different planets that are far away from here, but they're actual creatures. Whereas this creature exhibits a lot of different physicality that are reminiscent of the other weirdo creatures that you guys have fought than an actual creature. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no mention at all in any of the information that Jin's been able to find out about jump space radiation anomalies.
All right, what do you guys think? We could just try to bluff our way out of this, and Weber, it's going to be you that has to do it. We basically just tell them, hey, we were unable to deliver this personal cargo. Just be aware it's a clone of a pet that this person wants. What we can tell you is it would be bad for it and bad for you if it got out. So we just recommend you go nowhere near it.
Yeah, are we telling Sergey this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's good. It's like, this is something we might be bringing back to our frontal friend at some point. So we'd like to keep the surprise. We don't want to ruin any surprises he would like, for hunting and whatnot. So
you could even hint at some kind of a sex pet. That should make him not want to touch it.
Oh, sorry, the visuals are too much for me.
And no one ever heard from Dr. Wagner again.
Sorry.
Why don't we
sew on all the penises onto it? Why does Melvin have 7 penises sewn onto him now? So sure, I'm happy to have that conversation. But basically, we're saying we're leaving our ship. This thing has got to be unmolested on board. No molestar, right?
Right.
And
Joe and Greenpert.
and doesn't require any care or feeding, but do not mess with it or touch it or even look at it.
All right, so I mean, so you're basically so Sergey is like.
Hey, Eric is trying to say something. Sorry.
Sorry.
Do we have any reason to not be completely open and honest with Sergey about how we found this?
Other than the fact that he's an arms dealer, he's in a notorious business where telling the truth does not really help you be successful.
And we're in the wild west of space time over here in this system.
Well, I mean, uh, he has no reason to dislike us, and I think it would be good if he could see us as customers and also reliable people. And
Yeah.
plus, what if he does know right now in advance just where this creature came from, and then we are caught out in some kind of everything fib.
I think
Oh,
if he
so-
knows what this thing is, we're in big trouble. And lying to him is not going to be the biggest problem because it won't be there, and neither will our ship when we get back.
Well, just out of curiosity, if we can pocket it on a slice of lime, why don't we just move it? The slice of lime doesn't have to be here for the ship repair.
But we can't fit the cargo on slice of lime with Melvin. We don't have enough room for the
You
drug.
don't have enough room for the pharmaceutical cargoes and the tank. I mean, it's already going to be crammed with all 5 of you and the pharmaceuticals in the shuttle, and you guys are going to be steaming for several days out to this system and back to deliver this stuff.
We can't buy a little U-Haul trailer to put behind the cargo ship.
Oh, look at that.
I mean, no, not really like a cargo trailer. No.
Well,
so-
okay. How about this?
so-
like a pod that attaches the outside of the ship that for external cargo.
Well, so that's what you guys do with the gin and tonic, right? You only have so much internal cargo, but you have 3 50-ton cargo mounts that you can attach to the ship. The slice of lime doesn't have that capability. It's not designed for that.
Right. All right, and we don't want to leave anybody behind in case we miss any fun adventures.
I don't know. I thought that the idea that somebody mentioned of renting a warehouse, putting it in there, and locking it up, that might. I mean, you could ask instead of opening the kimono for Sergey, you could just say, "Hey, we need to rent a warehouse. We need to store some stuff securely. Can you recommend a place for us?"
I guess the best we got. Can Tam come up with something that's some sort of hard to find tracking device that can pop on the outside of Melvin's tank in case he goes wandering when we're off?
That's easy to do. That's easy to do. Yeah, a tracking mechanism or some sort of like LoJack. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, we're gonna LoJack Melvin.
We're gonna LoJack Melvin. I like it.
What is this? It's this technology. It's called the club. I can't defeat it.
Yeah, let's put a club on it.
Okay.
I'm tweeting. We're gonna LoJack Melvin.
No other context needed.
I just hope that the people are watching this Twitter feed and just going,
I can't see Tom's sign.
"What the fuck are they doing?"
What is Tom's sign?
I can't.
Oh, hey,
read it.
Tom.
The video's too
Tractor
small.
bean. Hello.
So you guys are gonna have to explain to him what Melvin is.
We found a alien of indeterminate hostility in a tank, and who wants us to let it out. We have opted not to let him out, but now we got to go on some errands for Mom, and if we have to leave him home in the house here, we have to try to figure out what to do with him. So hopefully he doesn't break free and kill everyone.
There's Melvin.
Yeah, there he is. I think
Remember
indeterminate
you
hostility.
finding Melvin the last time.
Yeah,
Yes. So now we're going to be leaving him with a babysitter.
yeah. So we're LoJacking his tank.
All right. So what do you guys end up? I mean, what are you going to do with Melvin? You're going to offload him privately to a.
I think that makes sense.
Let's sell him.
Let's offload him. Leave him.
We're gonna put him in a storage shed.
Yeah, leave him some hollow vids you can watch, and and we're on our way.
All right. So Sergey recommends it. I mean, if you bring this to Sergey, he's like, "Oh, I understand completely." He knows a place very secure, 24-hour guard. Nobody gets in, nobody gets out. He can get you a very secure place and personally guarantee the security of it for $1,000 a week.
Awesome. I think we also need a safe deposit box for all Dr. Wagner's tiger penises and stuff, right?
1,250 a week.
I'm going to sell them.
I did not know the extent or the volume of the tiger penis collection.
Maybe Sergey can work out a deal with us. I can attach one to his forehead for some good pricing.
Thank you, my friend. I will have to pass.
A space hoarder episode of Tiger Penis.
All right, so I mean, I'm assuming you guys want to use some sort of like covered van to get this off of the ship and into the secure storage. It takes about a half a day to make all the arrangements and stuff like that, but yeah, I mean, you're pretty sure nobody saw it. You keep it covered. Basically, you guys essentially boxed it up and put the box on a you use one of the crates, and you put you put it in a crate that was sufficient size to put the crate on a grab trammed it to the discrete contraband repository, and basically locked it up in there. Did you go ahead and buy
in Farscape, they call it the Shadow Vault. Ever watch Farscape?
Yeah, I have, but I don't remember that.
Oh. All right. They had like a gangster vault that's unpenetrable, but of course Crichton has to break into it.
Gotcha. I'm sure he managed to do that in 30 to 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So do you guys go ahead and buy the LoJack too, and put it on the tank?
So we'll LoJack him. I will pantomime to Melvin that Daddy's got to run some errands, but we'll go back for him.
Okay. And I'm assuming you just keep it covered in a crate. Essentially, the way I'm envisioning this is you take the tank, you find a cargo crate that's of sufficient size, you insert the tank in the crate, seal it up, but before you seal it up, you LoJack the tank, not the crate, so that the LoJack is not obviously on the crate where it could just be popped off and left on the floor, right?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. And I'm assuming that you also tell Gin that while he's being worked on, that he's to send an alert to you guys if the LoJack moves, that he can monitor it through the
Definitely.
local internet.
Well, I also microchipped Melvin.
He just shot a microchip in there.
Yes. If found, please return to Dr. Wagner.
Please return to
Dr. Tiger Penis.
Milagrosa Wagner. All right, so you secured the cargo, you secured Melvin, you got paid. Everything's cool with Sergey. Sergey's guys are coming over to the ship. They've been there every day. They've taken measurements. They've talked to Gin. You've arranged for Gin to recognize Sergey and one of his assistants, I'm assuming, as sort of that. I mean, and Black, you have to authorize this and say, look, I want you to treat these guys as captains for the period while we're gone, kind of thing.
Yeah, that understood.
Okay. And they say, we're going to, when do you, and Sergey's like, when do you want to take a delivery of the items that we discussed?
We're ready now.
Okay. All right. So basically, you guys make arrangements to get the shuttle out of the ship. Outside, he brings you around to a much smaller loading dock on the shuttle, and it's just two little crates. And like I said, the crates themselves are about 6 by 6, so not large. They do fit into the shuttle's bay. There's 2 of them. He's like, this is the pharmaceutical load for Tewfik. You guys can hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah, my other thing dropped off. Sorry. I was just trying to couldn't hear anybody. So
he basically gives you things. So you're going to be, Slice of Lime works on a sort of a bit of Gin's AI capabilities. So for this trip, you will be using at least some of, you'll be in sort of partial contact with Gin. But Gin is basically saying, I'm gonna section off a piece of my sensorium so that will control the ship and sort of keep you on course. Obviously, it will be relying on Tam a great deal more. The further you guys get away, the less contact I'll be able to have with you, especially voice, like we normally enjoy. But certainly, I will be in a position to affect certain elements on the ship. Basically saying, I'm going to cut off a piece of my brain. I'm going to put it in slice of lime so it can control the ship, but we won't be able to talk in the same way we do.
Because half of your brain's missing. Got it.
Well, not because half of the brain's missing, but because of the distances involved. You guys are going to be using the Slice's fusion drive to haul like 5 days out system to get to this other system. Now, as systems go, these two systems are very close. But on fusion drive, you're not jumping, right? You're just going to haul out there on a shuttle. So it's going to take days at top speed. You'll get there, but it's going to take a while.
Okie doke.
All right. So they do it and they send you out there. So you guys are on the shuttle for 5 days. Do you do anything in those 5 days? It's a little bit close quarters. You sort of get on each other's nerves a bit, but everything seems to proceed. Yeah, that's what you do constantly without stopping. Tam, this is a side of you we never knew. You really need a locking door in there, don't you?
Or at least don't be so loud.
it's hey, you were supposed to sell that bear porn. What the hell? All right, but yeah, I mean, you guys get into system and you find that this system is not complex. So let me get my stuff out.
You see my last line?
You change shape to look like coffee.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna
basically Coffin Doyle's just walking around the ship masturbating the whole time.
this whole crew has gone completely round the bend. All right, so I'm going to share this real quick with you. Okay, so this is a very simple system. So this is Tewfik system. This is short. So just to, and I'll show you where it is. It's the, if you remember from the star map, and I'll go back to it in a minute, Tewfik system is actually due south, galactic south from Cymberline. It's actually quite close, but it's a truncated system at best. It has an M class star, but it's a small M class star. And the only real planet is what's called, and the planet's called Splendor's Rest, and is the first planet out. It's actually quite close to the sun. To the star. So there's a couple of things about Splendor's Rest that you should know. It is a dense core. It is a small planet. It's quite close to the sun. It has a dense core, and the gravity is about 1.8 Earth. So it's a little bit hard to move around in. The atmosphere is quite thick. It has to protect it. It has to protect from the radiation that emanates from the proximity to the star, and it does a good job of it. But what it also causes that planet to be quite warm, generally speaking, and a little bit juicy from a humidity standpoint. What it does is it makes it perfect for growing crops, and that's essentially what Splendor's Rest is. You do talk a little bit with Sergey about Splendor's Rest, and he mentioned before that that Splendor's Rest is essentially a place where a splinter offshoot of a sort of religious group kind of went and moved out to centuries ago, and it's essentially a farming community. They've abandoned a lot of technology, but they also recognize that there are some things that they simply cannot produce on their own planet. So what they do is, it's a little bit like the Pennsylvania Dutch, right? They do a lot of agricultural products. They do a lot of those things, and they trade those for the necessities while eschewing a lot of modern technology. So it's a little bit backward and a little bit off-putting, but as Sergey would say, they're generally good people. Please, if you don't negatively impact their belief systems, they will. It's a simple delivery. You won't have any problem, I promise you. So you guys get there, and when you enter the system, you aren't hit by AI. if anything, it takes a while, and you're a little bit first because Gin doesn't know because he's on the shuttle. But you're like, Tam, you're on actual like subspace radio going.
Why aren't they? Yeah.
This is the slice of lime. This is the slice of lime. We're coming into Splendor's Rest. It's only when you get reasonably close to the planet itself where you sort of get this crackling, and it becomes obvious to you that they really don't have a lot of they certainly don't have a system-wide AI.
Wow.
There's nothing there, and basically you're getting what looked to be essentially radio transmission from the planet. You hear it come through. It's like this is Splendor's Rest, contacting the slice of lime. Welcome to Splendor's Rest. Your visit has been foretold. You will land at pad C1. A contingent will come out to meet you. Please remain aboard your vessel until contacted by the port authorities. Do you have any questions?
No questions. C1. See you there.
Port C1. There are not very many pads. We do not get many visitors. You are not bringing a jump-capable ship to land on our planet, correct?
No, we are not.
Excellent. You are cleared to land once you approach.
Okay.
Please. All right, and then the radio kind of like touches off, and there's no contact there, so you don't know what's going on. But yeah, you guys approach, take up orbit. You do get a beacon. So Tam, as you're flying it in, you're like, there's an actual radio beacon that's leading you, and it's actually on the dark side of the planet, so it's nighttime when you land. But yeah, the landing goes smoothly. You bring it in. This atmosphere is quite dense, so a couple of times you're getting some heat alerts from the outside the skin of the ship, that it's heating up a little bit. There's some very minor damage as you sort of coast in, but you do manage to land without any other problems. Now it's dark, it's nighttime, and they've asked you to you remember they've asked you to stay in your ship until you're contacted by port authority. So you're in there for and frankly, you're just like, what is taking these fucking guys so long? Because it's like a half an hour that you guys are sitting on this pad. The engines are cooling down. There doesn't seem to be any fueling out here or anything like that. It's pretty rustic. And so let me show you a little bit of what it looks like. So if you look at these,
wow,
this is a little bit of vistas on this planet. So you can see that it's very much from the top image, you can see that it's very much agricultural. There are these large sort of stone monoliths. You're not sure if these were built by the current residents of this planet or by previous residents, some sort of ancients or something like that. But they seem very worn down and sort of eroded in ways. You look the other way, and these are daylight photos, obviously, but you can see that there's a lot of thing. There is one sort of off in the distance. You can see that there is one thing that sort of looks like what would pass for a city here. Your guess is that there might be 10,000 people living there. It's very small. And you can see all, for as far as the eye can see, it's all farmland and farmsteads all across the thing. This looks to be the thing. You're about 20 kilometers from there at the spaceport, which is very remote from the thing. And you're not sure why that is, because most of these spaceports that you've been to that are on planets are usually fairly close, like an airport, a little bit away from the city, but close enough where there's enough traffic. This one's really far away. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of like traffic of any kind. You don't see any and even your sensors, you don't see any air vehicles of any kind. Sensors indicate that over by the city there is some wheeled traffic and some vehicles with tracks, but beyond that, they seem to be internal combustion or electric primarily. There doesn't seem to be any fusion drives or anything like that.
We're hanging out with the Pennsylvania Dutch, I guess, huh?
Kind of, yeah. It's a little like stepping back into the thing. After about a half an hour, you get a radio transmission that's coming in. It's like, yeah, this is Port Authority. We're here approaching pad C1. We're here to make a pickup. We got some cargo that we're looking for a ship called the Slice of Lime. Is that you guys?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. All right, we've got we're sending our team over there to pick it up. When they get there, just let them in, and they'll do the rest. We shouldn't have any problems. Any questions for us or anything like that? You need any call sign on the package or anything?
Captain?
No, I think we're good.
No,
All
no
right.
evidence.
That's excellent, Mike. My guys will be there in about 10 minutes to make the pickup. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. And then as you sort of like, it doesn't take very long, and on sensors, you see a tracked vehicle, looks like a large sort of carryall, come trundling up. And it looks like about a half dozen people get off of it. And now you're going to have to forgive me for the quality of my cruddy map.
It's a beautiful map. I love it.
Hey, Les, you're sharing your files on the Zoom.
What files?
Exact. Well, all the pictures that you had there.
Oh, no. Okay.
Your D files.
All right.
I didn't see any bear porn. So I'm just
Hey guys, I go into high alert as soon as the map appears on the screen. This can't be a good sign.
Well, so as you can see, if you move forward, you can see that there's some people over here. And so here's something. So you guys open the cargo holds, and I'm assuming you guys go outside. The air is certainly breathable, but the moment you come outside of the Slice of Lime, you're like, oh my God.
It's hot.
It's warm. It's
humid.
And the gravity is nearly twice normal Terran gravity. It's almost 2G. So you get outside and you're just like, oh my God, I couldn't live here. You see people that, for lack of a better term, look like dwarves. All right. This guy seems to be in the lead. They're short, they're squat, they're powerfully built. And, they look essentially like fantasy dwarves dressed up in regular clothes.
Yeah, they've been here generations.
They've been here for several generations. So this guy comes, he's like, hey, y'all are the Slice of Lime, right?
That's us.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. My guys, so he looks over, he's like, hold on a second. Is this the cargo bay? We can just go in and it's just right up in there?
Yeah, this is the stuff we were sent to deliver.
Okay, great. He's like, all right, you guys go. Pick it up. And so they actually pick up, they have like 2x4s. So the canisters, you're using standard cargo containers. They have like slots for like gravitational or things pick up, like forklifts. These guys have 2x4s and they just slide them through and they just trudge them out. You know that those containers weigh close to a ton a piece. And these four guys just like, and just truck them over to their little carryall here. Give me, and as you guys are sort of watching, this guy is sort of telling you what to do. Doyle, give me a intelligence check.
This is the planet Phantasm. They're being.
These aren't the guys that are supposed to get this stuff.
Thin tall man, aren't they?
What?
The thin tall man Phantasm. They had little dwarf guys.
The tall man.
God.
Because their gravity was different.
Yeah, it's true. You just sort of like looking around. You're just kind of a little curious as to what this guy is doing here. He doesn't help with the loading. He doesn't help with anything else. He's just sort of standing there next to this guy. This guy does all the talking. He's like, "Did you have any trouble with traffic control or anything like that?" And I'm sure you guys are like, "I don't know." So he's like, "Yeah."
I'll do my usual jabberjaw out there. Hi.
All right. He's a pretty friendly guy. He's basically like, look, hey, don't put, he goes, traffic control. He goes, the old guys, they're a bunch of hard asses around here. We're not all like that. He says, look, we've lived here our whole lives. We know, we know what people think of us, but we're not all like that. So hey, I hope you weren't put off too hard. He's sure are glad that you guys brought these pharmaceuticals. We got, there's some places on the other side of the planet that have had outbreaks. I don't know if they told you, we have some crazy bacteria here. They evolve really quickly, and so we have to constantly need to develop new antibiotics and stuff like that. And a lot of that we don't have the research here because we've chosen a certain lifestyle. So it's that kind of thing. So I hope
Well,
you didn't have any problem with those guys.
No problem at all. And we're happy to help Sergey out, and he's happy to help you guys out.
Well, we sure appreciate it. You know, this is really helpful, and you know, we owe him a big debt of thanks. So thanks again. We all loaded up, and they're like, "Yeah, we got it. Yeah, okay." It's like, "All right. Well, thanks for everything, and we will see you later. Maybe we'll see you again." And they get in their tracked vehicle and they take off. So they take off and they disappear into the dark pretty quickly. You guys, it's maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and you begin to see some lights sort of approaching the landing pad, and you hear the
Let's get out of here, quick! Let's get out.
Well, you hear a voice coming over the night. It's like, "Yeah, slice of lime. Is that you? This is Port Authority. We are come to take delivery of the pharmaceuticals. Is everything prepared?"
Oh shit.
We just delivered the pharmaceuticals.
Slice of lime, can you repeat that, please?
We already delivered the pharmaceuticals.
Oh man, we gotta go get those guys.
To whom did you deliver the pharmaceuticals?
A bunch of stocky young people who seemed to know we were coming.
There's silence on the other end. He's like, "Please stay on the landing pad. We'll need to speak with you in just a few moments."
Oh shit.
So this tractor truck comes up, and a couple of guys pop out. They again look a lot like the people that you saw. I mean, they're sort of dwarvish in stature, stocky, very strong looking, but they seem a lot more no nonsense. They're a lot more official. And one guy is wearing sort of like a jumpsuit. The rest of them are wearing what look to be some sort of uniforms. And they come up and they're like, is the captain here? The captain of the shuttle? Where is he?
Yeah.
That is you? Is it you that I was speaking with on the radio?
I believe so. Kind of hard to tell, but.
So have I given to understand that you have delivered our pharmaceuticals to a separate unauthorized group?
I don't know that for sure. I just know that we delivered them to somebody who was here and knew we were coming, so we assumed you had told them.
So the guy turns around. He's like, "I can't believe this has happened. Do you believe this?" And the uniform guys are like, kind of like, "Oh shit!" And he's like, the guy's like, "This is so stupid." Captain Black, if you and your crew will accompany us, we need to take you to the elders, so that you can explain what exactly has happened.
Sure.
We may have a problem.
Wait, did those guys scram?
The original guys that took the crates? Yeah, they took off.
Can we find them?
We're gonna have to find them, but I believe that'll be an adventure for another
I
time.
believe that's our next adventure.
That will be our next adventure because it's 11:02, and so in 4 weeks we follow the smugglers as Mehmet Tam pointed out.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good one. We're gonna have to try that one on another system. We're here to the old bank guy. We're here to pick
the
up
old
money,
the old weekend at Bernie's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I got to drop off.
All right,
All
thanks
right.
you guys. This was awesome. I will talk to you guys soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Adios. Night.
Hamster.
Good night, everyone. Take care.
That was good stuff, man.
Thanks. Staying on, Matt? All right, take care, brother. I'm gonna stop the recording real quick.